Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. And more importantly, blue morning to you because it is another Blue Morning show. I hope you all are doing well. Today, we're going to review the game between Crystal Palace and Chelsea Football Club at Wembley, the performance of the players, and also we'll talk about why Kepa Arrizabalaga did not start that game. This is not about which of the two goalkeepers is better than the other. This is not about whether Mendy or Kepa Arrizabalaga is better than the other. This is about how the manager has handled the selection of both players and the potential consequences. So, if you want to find out what the consequences may be, you stay tuned and please don't go anywhere. Yes, people, welcome back to another Blue Morning show. And today, like I've told you, we're going to talk about Thomas Tuchel's selection of the two goalkeepers that we have, Kepa Arrizabalaga and Edouard Mendy, both of whom are international. Kepa represents the Spanish international. Sometimes if it's called up, Edouard Mendy is the first choice for the Senegal national team. But the truth is how our manager, Thomas Tuchel, has handled their selection. He favors the other one over the other, but the treatment has come across as unfair, at least let me say from my own perspective, and it will not help the confidence of Kepa Arrizabalaga, while the other goalkeeper will feel like he's indispensable. And to me, that's a huge risk that comes with that. So I'm going to start by taking looking at the comments in the comments section while I wait for any whoever has time to join me on the panel so that we can debate the consequences of how Thomas Tuchel has handled the selection of both goalkeepers. First, I have a True Blue who says, why are you putting him there to be slated? Because the pro Mendy brigade base their opinion on one season where Lampard scapegoated him for his own failures as a coach and their own biased reason. The truth is, it is not about which of the two goalkeepers is better than the other. The truth is how Thomas Tuchel has handled the selection of both players, favoring one over the other, making one feel like a king, making one feel like he's crap and only important when the other one is not available. To me, it is concerning because that may well damage Kepa's confidence forever, or as long as he's at Chelsea Football Club, he'd never be in the right frame of mind to do a good job for us. So with that, I'd say wherever you're watching from, please be sure you've liked the video and more importantly, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, because that goes a long way. Now, he says the guy was integral in getting us to every final we have been in the last 4 seasons and 3 of our 4 trophies. Again, that is if the argument is his input or how well he's done for us, then I'd read this. Maybe it will come to that, so I will highlight these comments. So in case if the argument comes or if the debate comes down to, well, he's done this and the other person hasn't done the other stuff. So that's it. My brother Ankit says just happy with the win. But I was surprised with no Kepa. I was surprised to, and here the queen of all streams herself says, true, expected Kepa to start, but hey, 2 FA Cup final, ladies and men, not bad. It is not bad, but it's important that we address, talk about it. We'll also talk about Ruben Loftus-Cheek. You could argue re-emergence, Timo Werner's re-emergence, and how well both players did in that last game. So that's important. Let's keep going. Didn't believe Kepa was the FA Cup goalie. Maybe hurt. I don't think that's the case. If that was the case, he shouldn't be on the bench either. I think, and there were times when even when Mendy was faltering a lot, when he was making quite a lot of mistakes, an exception being this last game, he didn't make any mistakes. We expected Kepa Arrizabalaga to start, but yet he didn't get it. That is, he didn't start. So that's really concerning. I must let you know. I think Chelsea win the FA Cup. I hope we do this time because we'll be going into that with a mindset. You could say the mindset of a revenge, and plus, I think that's our only chance of winning a domestic trophy this season. And the FA Cup himself is a big competition in England. So I think we will. And given that we lost to Liverpool in the Carabao Cup, this is an opportunity for us to show yes, we did enough good to win the game on that day, but we were not lucky. So, but that's by the way. And the Queen herself said, pause across Abisha Moha. And again, Abisha Moha, how are you doing? If this is your first time, please be sure to smash the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. That will go a long way for us. Yeah, and on one of the queens of the house comes in, Just Viola says, good morning, Kachila, good morning to you, and more importantly, blue morning, because it is the Blue Morning show. So if you're in the chat right now, start by letting me know how do you think it was okay, how you think Thomas Tuchel has handled the selection of Kepa Arrizabalaga and Eduardo Mendy. To me, he hasn't done well in that aspect because he creates, makes one of them feel like he's indispensable, while he makes the other one feel he's dispensable. He is only important when a Mendy isn't available for selection, and that is not okay because what happens if something happens to Edouard Mendy, then you have a second choice goalkeeper, if you want to phrase it that way, who definitely, most likely, will not be happy that he's only important when Mendy isn't playing. To me, I'd say Thomas Tuchel hasn't handled that well, but that's by the way. Again, it's important. We have to enjoy the win, but this is a topic I feel like we have to address. To be truthful to ourselves. He hasn't been treated fairly, and I'll talk about that in detail. Maybe when someone else comes onto the panel. Hi everyone. Yep, in the chat. Yeah, and third time in the final in a row. Yep, that's brilliant. And again, Thomas Tuchel himself, 6 finals on the. I think how many months? I think that's another brilliant record. And again, this is not me slating Thomas Tuchel. This is me, just being a factual here, because we have a problem. Should Mendy get injured, then we have a probably dejected Kepa Arrizabalaga coming for him, and that is not okay. And I'm happy that I have my brother and good friend on the panel already. How are you doing, Bobby? Nice to have you on the panel.
Sorry, I was trying to unmute myself. Thanks for having me, Coach. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, my earpiece was off. It was not your fault. Go ahead.
Yeah, I have to say, Coach, I love you, brother, but I strongly disagree with the title of your program today.
Mm-hmm.
We can't be doing this. We can't be doing this. This is the problem with our fan base. A player sits on the bench for 5 minutes, we start complaining or creating situations that don't exist.
Go ahead.
We are a grade A football club.
Mm-hmm.
It is a squad game. And in a grade A football club, you will have grade A players on the bench, sometimes for a considerable period of time. Now, in the Kepa situation, it's not that Tuchel doesn't trust him, but Mendy is Chelsea's number 1 goalkeeper. He had a few wobblies. He didn't have a great game against Brentford. He made some mistakes against Real Madrid in the first leg. Now, he needed to keep playing him to bring back his confidence. Just like when Kepa was going through a bad spell, we kept playing him to bring back his confidence. or it took a long time with Kepa. It's not taken a long time with Mendy. You have to stick with your number one. That is how success goes. You don't one day you have a goalkeeper, then when the goalkeeper isn't on form, you change him straight away for the next one. No, doesn't work like that. It's a specialized position.
Here's the thing. Why I now call it, that is the fact that why I said it's a snub, and why I think he doesn't trust Kepa Arrizabalaga. And believe me, whatever conclusion we arrive at here, it doesn't affect anything. But this is us just being objective and looking at things and saying, okay, let me ask you this, Bobby. I'll go back a bit. That is to have a complete, to have a detailed explanation on why I think he doesn't trust him. But first, let me ask you this question now. I think he's been unfair to Kepa. Let's be honest.
What?
And let me start to give you a background of why I say he's been unfair to Kepa Arrizabalaga. When he traveled, when our force, let me just call him our force, the first choice goalkeeper. This is not me saying Mendy isn't better. This is not me saying Kepa Arrizabalaga is better. This is me saying at least when that is. I think we should be fair, and he should be fair on how he treats this guy. Okay, first of all, Mendy traveled for AFCON, and we had Kepa Arrizabalaga. And he was brilliant, even in the Premier League games. He did very well. He did not put a foot wrong. And overall, actually, but I'll come to that later. Under Thomas Tuchel, he's considered less goals than Eduardo Mendy has. But yeah, we understand Mendy has played more games. That makes more that cancels out that argument. And then we went to Club World Cup with him. And at the Club World Cup, he was brilliant. It was his brilliance that ensured that we made it to the final of the Club World Cup.
Yep.
And then Mendy comes back, joins the camp, just I think a day or so.
Yep.
And then the next game, which is the final of the Club World Cup, Mendy was between the sticks. Then we're saying, okay, that's fine. Maybe when we come back home in the final of the Carabao Cup, that Kepa Arrizabalaga starts. And Kepa Arrizabalaga himself, believe me, if you ask him, he'd tell you that he was going to start the final of that Club World Cup. And he's been there for us. And then Mendy comes back, and then you drop into the bench and starts a Mendy. And if it wasn't for his brilliance, I know you watched that game, we wouldn't even make it to the final. Okay, I would say, okay, maybe Thomas Tuchel is probably saying, okay, maybe the Carabao Cup has told him you'd start the Carabao Cup final. Now, I even went on to Worldwide Tales. We argued. I said, I don't think Mendy will start the Carabao Cup final. I think he will be Kepa Arrizabalaga because he's been a cup goalkeeper. And given that he was benched in the final of the Club World Cup, that this time he starts. Now, to our utmost surprise, we get to the Carabao Cup final, boom, Mendy starts. That's not fair. This is. I know. I even have a friend who said that me calling for Kepa Arrizabalaga to start the Carabao Cup final and the Club World Cup final, that it is sentiment. No, it's not. He merits to be there. How goalkeepers are treated? Yeah, you have number one and number two, but this cases I've tabled before you. I think it's unfair to bench him on both cases. It doesn't put him in the right mindset. It puts him in such mindset that, oh, I'm only important when this guy isn't available. What if Mendy gets injured today? You'll be selecting a goalkeeper who probably you've crushed his confidence, who will not be coming in happy, who will be only be coming in grumbling and saying, now I'm important because he's injured. That's my argument. I'm not saying Mendy is better or Kepa is better. I'm saying we should just be fair. And when you give merit when it's due. Start Kepa when he's supposed to be. So at least he should have started one of those two finals. But that's by the way. Now, my argument also would be, okay, let me just let you come in. After everything I've explained, I'll let you know how that could possibly affect Eduardo Mendy. You come in.
You see, these are the sort of emotions that don't belong in men's football. This is for women's football. They can afford to have these sort of emotions. We're into winning. Kepa did his job, full stop. The number one came back. He did his job to sit on the bench. That's your job. There's a saying in the Bible, a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. If you can't make a decision, you will make no decision. We have a number one and a number two. Mendy, the coach has said, is number one. Kepa is number two. Both of them, when they're on that pitch, they give 100% performances. That's period. That's what it is. So all this, oh, he deserves another chance, this and it doesn't come into it. You're number two. You sit on the bench. That's the coach's decision. This is what we have to get used to in the Chelsea fan base. We're too emotional. We're too into, oh, I like this player. Oh, he did well today. No, the tactics are Ziyech on the bench. We're playing a back three. It doesn't suit your game. You come in when we switch to a flat back four. That's the tactics. Keep your discipline. Keep your focus. That's winning mentality. That's all. And all this, I don't buy that at all. You probably will see. I tell you what, you'll see Kepa against Arsenal, because that's the time for Mendy to get a rest. And that is a very big game, because that's an opportunity to really try and secure third place. So we've given him responsibilities. We've shown faith in him. But the reality of our football club is he is number two, Mendy is number one. They can't both play. That's the goalkeeping situation. You can't keep, oh, this guy's done well today. Oh, let's put him in. No. They're both top-class goalkeepers. Mendy's a top-class goalkeeper. He is number one. He plays. And
can I come in 1 second, Bobby? They're both top-class goalkeepers. You said that. Then when Kepa deserves to keep his place, he plays. And that makes. And then let me ask you this question. I think I'll come back to that. I don't just want us to talk about it right now. There's a question I'll ask you later on how we'll talk about how that treatment of Kepa Arrizabalaga could possibly be an issue for Mendy, whether subconsciously or not. Because we're humans. When we take things for granted, we seem not to be, 100% when we do that stuff. But I get your point. Go ahead, brother.
Then he'll be. Look, Mendy was only played persistently because he lost a bit of form. Tuchel recognized that he came back from the African World Cup qualifiers. He has played a lot of high-intensity games. He lost a bit of form for 2 matches. 2 matches. That's all. It happens. And that's when you have to play them through. If you drop him at that point, that's when you will damage him. But if you keep playing him, he'll find his feet again. Now,
Bobby, let me say something again. Remember, I haven't talked about Mendy's mistakes. The 2 examples I gave you is Mendy traveling for AFCON and then coming back, joining the camp just a day, and then takes over. And then we come back to everything I explained to you.
Well,
but go ahead.
Well, as you've explained it is as it is. He came back, he went straight in as number one. That's how it is. That's discipline. That's why I like Tuchel. He doesn't mess around. He's not double-minded. He keeps his discipline, keeps his focus. Mendy was number one. He came in. This time around, they all came back from international break. None of them had particular form. Mendy wasn't good. None of them were good against Brentford. Mendy made that silly mistake against Real Madrid at Stamford Bridge. Now he's back to himself. You have to keep your focus. None of all this double-mindedness, especially in the goalkeeping situation. I say this again. You want to do that, that's the women's game. You want to be focused, strong, and winning. That's the men's game.
I have to say this also, Bobby. I think we are very educated enough that we have to be very careful how we say that's for women's game. It will come across as that is how do I phrase it? Some people will take offense from that statement. You get my point. We have to be careful how we say.
But that's where you can be emotional. There's a lot of emotions in that game, a lot, and it's accepted. But in the men's game, we can't do that. You can't be emotional at the top level in the selection of your team. You have to be focused. Sometimes you've got to be brutal. And this is what it takes. Do you think Real Madrid's number 2 goalkeeper is happy sitting behind Courtois? You think Courtois doesn't make mistakes? But they put him in as number 1. You don't mess with your number 1. That's why they're number 1. If what I said has upset people, then I apologize. But
no, I know you understand my point when I said that, but that's by the way. I'll come back to you again. Nick, how are you doing, brother?
Yeah, hello, chaps.
And thank you very much again for the live pictures from Wembley yesterday. It was it was beautiful. Now, Nick, the question now for you is, how do you? That is your thoughts on the treatment? Let me just phrase it that way, because to me, in my opinion, I'm still saying it. I don't think it's fair. I think it's been treated poorly. That it's gonna affect his confidence in so many ways, and that's not good for us. And my question is, what if Mendy gets injured? Then you have on the bench Kepa Arrizabalaga, who you've treated poorly. You've made him feel like you're nothing as long as Mendy is available. This is not about to me. This is not about being number 1 or number 2. I can give you instances why I say that is the case. Yeah. You get my point. So your thoughts before I go to Ty.
Look, I'll get Bobby's points, and I'll get your points as well. You know, well, you're both right. But look, I must say, yesterday, a lot of fans were expecting Kepa to start the final. But deep down, we knew it was going to be Mendy. All right, he is our number 1. Don't forget, he is our number 1.
I understand the number 1 argument, but go ahead.
Yeah, he's our number 1. We all know that. But Kepa, he got us there to the FA Cup final. He played a lot of games at the start, especially the League Cup final. That's where Tuchel got it wrong. It should have been Kepa in the League Cup final, for sure. And then, you know, you saw his expressions after, how he felt. He showed when he came on. You know, that was wrong. All right, Mendy's our number 1. Kepa, you know, he has to fight. If he wants to be a number 1 again, he has to fight for it. Bobby said he can't fight. I don't know, Bobby, but, you know, there is a chance. We have 2 goalkeepers to keep the competition for the goalkeeper, like we did with Cudicini, if you remember. And then when Courtois came in, you know, we've always had 2 great goalkeepers.
It was Cech and Courtois, Cudicini and Beck.
That's it. Yeah. And if you remember, you know, there's no reason. No, you know, we won't have nothing against Kepa. If he shows he's better than Mendy, then he can be number 1. You can't begrudge him that. You know, I don't understand what you're saying. You know, he can't just be Mendy. You know, there's a lot of games to play during the season, and we're involved with all the cup competitions. So Kepa should be playing more as well, for sure.
Thank you for that argument. Again, my point is, again, I'm going to argue this tomorrow. I'm not saying Mendy is a number 1. I'm not saying it is okay to have a number 1 goalkeeper and a number 2 goalkeeper. My argument is that I don't think Thomas Tuchel has handled it well. He's handled it in a way that even Mendy himself will feel like he's indispensable, while Kepa Arrizabalaga will feel like he's only important when Mendy isn't available. So there's a fine line between those 2 things. It's the way you handle it that you cause a problem even without knowing it. That's my argument. But I'm going to come back to you. Ty, your thoughts on this whole discussion about Mendy. This is not about who's better than the other, but how Thomas Tuchel has handled the selection process. Your thoughts, Ty?
Well, to me, I think I can agree with what some of what Bobby said, and I can agree with what you said. The thing is, for me, and you know, the examples used about the fact that he was playing the Club World Cup, and then Mendy joined up with the squad one day before, and he was just played straight in. That in particular, that is really a good message to send to your backup goalkeeper. Obviously, he knows he's the backup goalkeeper, but to send that and say that I'm the reason why we're here, and then because this, you know, the first choice goalkeeper is back, I'm just going to be dropping back to the bench. It's not something good to send because he was the reason why we got there. He had to make saves in order for us to make it to that final. And people say that he's the second choice goalkeeper. He was just stepping in for the first choice one until we return. But at least give him the final because he's the reason why we got there. He's the reason why we were able to play in that final. If he didn't make the saves that he made, the game could have gone longer than it did, and he was the reason why. The second thing is, for me, I've always been an adversary for saying that the fact that he's the reason why we got to the Carabao Cup final, that should have been enough for him to start the final because give him the momentum. He's not give him that boost because he's not going to be playing in the league as much unless it's for rotation reasons. So give him that opportunity to play in that final. Give it because to me, we all know that Mendy was brought in for a reason, but we all know that Kepa struggles with confidence, and to drop him after he's done situations, won us the game against Southampton in the penalty shootout, having to go through penalty shootouts, to get us to the next round. That should have been enough for him to be trusted in the final because he's the reason we got there. He was the one that was in the campaign lead to that final. So to me, it really isn't managed properly because he should have been trusted, to play in that final. At the end of the day, it's like you said, it's not that we're comparing who's better because it's clear as day who is better overall. But to really drop him when he's the reason why he got that far, to me it just seems as if you just basically send a message to him that if if Mendy is not able to physically be on the pitch, you're not going to be playing any games, and that's not something good to send. And yes, Bobby will say that the example used with Real Madrid, the second choice goalkeeper won't like the fact that he's not playing even when Courtois was making mistakes. But at the same time, he does get the games and he is trusted in the other domestic competitions. So it's not like Courtois is always playing there. So even though he's not the first choice goalkeeper anymore, you have to give him that boost. You have to give him that confidence boost that he can play in some competition and you can have some trust. And at least in that sense, he can feel as if he has a chance because if he's performing good, and even when he's performing good, he's still not trusted. Eventually, that can make him feel hopeless because he's gonna say that what do I have to do in order for me to be trusted? Because the fact that he was the reason you got that far, that should have said that he's good enough for you to trust him in that final. So to me, it's difficult, and people say that he needs to work, but if he's putting in the work and he's still not being trusted, I don't know what he should do.
Yeah. So let me quickly go
Happens.
through the chat, Bobby. I'll come back to you. I know you wanted to add something. And this is Chidera Nwosu. Chidera sounds like Chidera is a name probably from my birthplace in Nigeria. Igbo. I don't know if that Chidera, a boy can be Chidera and a girl can be Chidera. Says, how is this an issue? The better goalkeeper is always the number one. Kepa used to be our number one when we had him, and really, it's as simple as that. Again, that is you. Let me explain something to you, Chidera. The argument isn't who is better than the other, and this approach, this mindset of Chelsea fans having player that is starters and then backups. That's our biggest issue. That's the reason why the moment Ben Chilwell got injured, we started faltering. It got worse when also the same thing happened the moment when Reece James got injured. We started faltering because I think that it's not even the fans' mindset. I think our board also had that mindset. That's why we had so many deadwood players in our squad because we always believe in having starters and backups. So the moment the starter gets injured, we have a serious issue, and that's why I've explained the two players, even in the midfield, when once Kante gets injured, we have a serious issue. So we don't want a situation where Yes, Mendy can let him go with the tag number one. But at least when Kepa Arrizabalaga does something enough that he's supposed to at least start, show him you trust him. So when Mendy isn't there, he comes in with the mindset, this is my opportunity to do well and possibly become the number one. But the whole thing has been done in a way that he's not going to see the possibility. He doesn't see the path of becoming number one, and that's not okay. We shouldn't have number. Yes, let Mendy be the number one, but when Kepa does enough, show him that he's done enough to become number one. But that's not even the argument. Yeah, the argument is that I don't think Tuchel has handled it very well.
Coach, you've missed it.
Go ahead, Bobby. You wanted to say something.
You've missed it, my brother. You've missed it. First of all, outfield players. The problem with Chelsea at the beginning of the season was that they didn't retain enough high-quality outfield players. They listened to all this codswallop about game time. A player sitting on the bench for 5 minutes. Oh, he has to go to Real Madrid. Oh, he has to go to Dortmund. Nonsense. It is a squad game. These players rotate. Outfield players rotate depending on tactics, depending on number of games you played, injuries, suspensions, and so on. So that's a different part of the pitch. The goalkeeping situation is very clear. 3 goalkeepers, 2 of them are world class. One is number one, one is number 2. It's not about sentiment. Tuchel learnt a lot. And by the way, Kepa has played a lot of games this season, so let's not go down that road. But Tuchel learnt a lot from last year's FA Cup final. Kepa played all the cup games, and Tuchel gave him that FA Cup final. Not that he did badly, but the goal from 35 yards, you could say that Mendy would have got that simply because of his physicality. What Tuchel learnt was you play your best regardless. You play who is going to give you the opportunity to win. And they understand that. Kepa's not sitting on the bench sulking. He understands that. He's playing for the team.
Can I come in 1 minute, Bobby? You can carry on. Yeah, but Kepa played all the cup games. He got us there to the League Cup final. He should have played that game. I'm not saying he should have played, all the games, but that game he should have played. When he came on, it showed he was mentally disturbed, and he showed a lot when you can see in his expression. That's where Tuchel got it wrong. That game he got it wrong. Wait a minute. Wait, 1 minute. And against Real Madrid, that mistake cost us the tie from Mendy. Don't forget that.
In the League Cup final, Kepa came on for penalties. Now, Tuchel had rehearsed that in the Super Cup game. And where he failed was that in the Super Cup, it was more or less a pre-season time. So even if a player comes on a bit cold, everybody's a bit cold. So it's not that noticeable. Whereas in the League Cup final, he was cold. He did well with the penalties, but when it came to him taking his penalty, he absolutely fluffed it. So
can I ask you this quickly, Bobby? Can I ask you this, Bobby?
What?
Let me ask you this question. And we have something else to talk about. We're going to talk about the importance of competition. Before I ask the next question I want to ask, but right now I want to ask you something. See yourself as Kepa Arrizabalaga, right?
Yep.
And you've been on the bench that is playing all cup games, and then Mendy's starting all Premier League games and Champions League games. And then Mendy had to travel for African Cup of Nations competition. And then you traveled with the squad for the Club World Cup.
Yep.
And you did let's highlight it again. It was due to, and this is not about what goalkeeper is better. This is about, managing that is the selection process properly, so the other one don't feel neglected, or if you want to phrase it that way, don't feel like they're not important. They're only important when the other one is not available. And then it was Kepa single-handedly, you could argue that it was his brilliance that made sure we made it to the final of that competition. And had you spoken with him before that final, he'd tell you, sure, he was the one that's going to be between the sticks. And if you were Kepa, after all those things, Mendy joins the camp a day or 2 days before the final, and boom, selected to stay between, that is to guard the sticks for us. As if that wasn't enough. And then we come back to the United Kingdom. And if you ask Kepa again, if I ask you if you were the person, you probably would tell me, yeah, you probably, since Mendy took your place in the final of the Club World Cup, yeah, you probably be the one to guard the sticks in the Carabao Cup final. And then it happened again. By merit. It's no sentiment. He's played the Carabao Cup final from the start to that point, and even on that is he was brilliant. I think it was on penalties that we progressed to the final. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's by the way. And you're telling me you'd be in the right mindset after you were dropped and probably was told that day Mendy starts between the sticks and you were dropped. And believe me, let me just point out something. If I were Thomas Tuchel, after not starting Kepa Arrizabalaga, I wouldn't bring him on for penalties because I know as a human being, he'd be crushed.
He's not crushed.
That's me. That's how I believe. If it was me, I don't take it lightly when something I've done enough for something to be mine, and you give it someone else. But if you were Kepa Arrizabalaga, Bobby, be truthful to me. Would you be in the right mindset? Would you be happy that you were dropped for the second time for two finals? That if I asked you before, you'd say,
you know why? I'll be happy I'm doing my job. You see, these things are cooked up in the minds of fans. They're not in the minds of the squad. That's his job. He's done his job. He's off the scene. It's not about him. Kepa plays in goal for Chelsea Football Club, not for Kepa Football Club. He's done his bit. And it's not about the glory hunt all the time. It's not about, I have to be the guy that scores the goals. This is part of the problem that we have with Lukaku. He's self-focused instead of team-focused. You've got to be team-focused at the top level. Kepa is fine. He's got no issue with it. It's fans that have issues with it because they're looking for glory for specific players, trying to let their emotions spill over into it. This is brutal stuff. We're a winning team. We are a machine. We have players doing things according to instruction.
It's not true.
Why should he be upset? He's done his job.
That's not true.
Let him finish, Nick.
Well, 1 minute, I have to come in because I will forget. No, that's not true. We know Mendy's our number one. We're just saying, in that League Cup final, it should have been Kepa. Anyone can see that. Especially when Mendy was playing in the African Nations Cup and he just come back. He had traveled, he come back. You had to put. That's only common sense.
Okay, let me tell you this, Nick. In the League Cup final you're referring to, did Mendy concede a goal?
Yeah, I know that's not the point. The point is
it is the point.
No, he's not.
The main point here is that the man management aspect of the whole thing doesn't make sense to me, if you ask me.
Doesn't matter. It's too emotional. You can't be
it's
too
not about emotion, it's about credibility.
Just common sense says Kepa should have started that final. We all said that every single final. I don't hear anyone say Mendy should start. Not many anyway. But Mendy, he's a great goalkeeper. He proved it yesterday. When we needed it, became world class. Took great stops, one after the other. That was brilliant. That's the Mendy we know. That's why he's number one. But we're just saying Kepa could have started the League Cup final. He's not saying Kepa's better than Mendy. No chance. He's far behind. We know that. But give him a chance.
I don't even.
This is not even about who's better than the other. Yeah, go ahead. Let me quickly breeze through the chat and I'll bring Andrew in. Andrew, how are you doing? And welcome to the panel today, brother.
All good, guys. All good. Hope everyone else.
Awesome. Let me just quickly breeze through the chat because this is an interactive show. And before I do that, please, if you haven't, make sure to smash that like button. And also subscribe to the channel if you haven't. But more importantly, be sure to click on the bell notification button so you don't miss anything. Limitless, I think this is the first time I'm seeing you here, and you say there is no should have played a game. I get your argument, but that's not what we're saying here. Play who you think would win you a game. That's important also, yeah. Well, extremely happy Timo got man of the match. I think it's a deserved man of the match for him. He deserves that. So again, if you haven't, please be sure to smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. If you haven't, we're on the road to 1,300 subscribers, and I believe we can get there today. And let's shoot for 100 likes. Now, this is Sampembo Julius. He says, Mendy is our best goalkeeper. He's the best. Our aim is not to play players. It's to win games and trophies. Please end the topic. Let's discuss Arsenal's game. That's your suggestion. This is not about who's better than the other. This is about how you treat both goalkeepers so that they'll both be in good mindset. When the other one isn't available, the other one comes in ready because you've shown them you trust them. But at this point, to Kepa, he'd be saying, this man doesn't trust me, except if something changes.
He says, that is in your head, coach, not Kepa's. It's not
what are we seeing? But I'll come back to you. What are we seeing? What we're seeing says otherwise. That's the thing. What are we seeing?
When he plays well.
I'll come back to you. Bobby, I'll come back to you. Again, let me see. Any other comment here to address? Kepa should be sold off to recover some of the money we bought him. He's completely off confidence.
Here we go.
I think that's why I'm reading what's on the screen. Kepa is too good and expensive to sit on the bench. Might be better off trying to sell him. And good luck with that. If you want to make gain off of that, that's where it gets serious. Kronos Dan says, hello, Winter Suffer. Kronos, nice to see you here. And I don't see that. Sorry, I got in late to Wembley yesterday, and I wasn't in the guts. A shocking atmosphere yesterday. No worries. That's the point. He says, I agree, Glenn. He's not a backup goalkeeper. Didn't sound like it. Kronos, I think, anything else to address here? Let me see. There's nothing like saying Club World Cup was Kepa's thing. He doesn't even deserve to be on the bench. Okay, thank you. That's your argument. But he made sure you made it to the final. Glenn here says, just Viola, yes, okay. I think there's nothing serious here to attend. I'll keep looking at the comment. And if there's anything to address later, I'll highlight them. Coming to you, Andrew, this is not about who is better than the other. What do you think about Thomas Tuchel's handling of the selection process of both goalkeepers? Because to me, the selection just makes it clear to the other one, to Mendy, you're better and you're indispensable, but to Kepa, you're only important when Mendy isn't available. Your thoughts?
I believe he's just following what football managers have been doing for decades. Kepa is the number two. He's the number two. You have to accept that. He's accepted that he's number two. Mendy is the number one. I don't see any difference to when. It's funny, isn't it? I don't hear. Well, maybe yesterday, Saturday, City fans saying it, but usually I don't hear like City fans like have a major discussion like, oh well, Stefan should always play these games or that game, or I don't hear Liverpool fans say Kelleher should always start this game, or and Arsenal fans and Spurs. I don't even know who Spurs' number two goalkeeper is because they don't start. That's the thing. I don't understand this point of thing that, you know, Kepa's done well, he's bounced back well, but he's number two, and I don't get this thing that's we should start this game or that game. It's up to the manager who starts. I start my strongest team no matter what. I don't care if the number two goalkeeper started every other round. I'd play my number one goalkeeper in the final. That's what happens. Peter Cech used to play all the games. We didn't hear any Chelsea fans in the back in the day, or when Thibaut Courtois played, oh yeah, we should, Culuccini should play all these games, or Cech when he should play all these games. No, it's the number one. They should start. It's the point of that. Thomas Tuchel was just doing what every other manager has done throughout football. He's defined who his number one is, and that's Mendy. You know it's Mendy. And this thing about Kepa should have started the League Cup and everything because, you know, he played all the other games. I'm sorry, if Mendy's available, I'm starting him in the final. I don't care what Kepa's done in the previous rounds. That he done well in that game. He's a number two. I think he knows he's a number 2 and he's accepted he's number 2. Well, he's number 2 at Chelsea. Who thinks he's number 2 long term, it's up to him. And that's on him to then ask to be sent out on loan or released or sold. Remember, he's done well this season in a few games. Yeah, great. But Mendy is defined as the number 1 at this moment at this club.
Solid.
And Thomas Tuchel knows that. And,
solid.
Yeah, and I think Kepa's accepted that. It's
just Andrew, can I ask you this? And I hope my question doesn't come across as insulting to you.
No.
How do we know that Kepa has accepted that he's number 2?
Well, okay.
Did you see what he was doing on the bench yesterday? Did you see
how
he was encouraging the team at the Bernabeu?
That's natural.
What do you mean natural?
That's natural, yeah. You can't sit on the bench and be acting like you don't support the team. Every other player, does that.
Coach, I love you, brother, but this is in your head, not theirs. They're professionals. They're doing their job.
I think
you just said it. You just said it. They're professionals. They're doing their job, so he should show support to his teammates. You just said it. Go ahead, Andrew. You get my question. How do we know that he's accepted to be number 2?
But shouldn't he know he's number 2? I mean, Mendy came back for the World Cup final. He's played in the League Cup final. He played yesterday. He plays when he's always available. He should know he's number 2 by the amount of times that he's not picked.
Tuchel even says it. Tuchel says he's the number 2.
He's the number 2. He's defined it already.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that he's accepted it, and that means he's fine with it.
If you look, I'm a coach.
I think he's accepted it. I think he's not
picking
number
up.
2.
Listen,
if I'm number,
I wouldn't even keep you on my team. Go ahead, Andrew. Andrew, go ahead. You were saying something.
I think he's.
Wait, let Andrew finish. Go ahead, Andrew.
In my opinion, I believe he's accepted it. I also think. Remember, I think he's comforted by his length of contract and 155 grand a week he gets for being number 2 as well. This is on him this summer. This will be him this summer. He needs to sit down with Tuchel and say, what's the plan? Am I the number 2? Because I don't want to be the number 2. And then try and get a loan move or be sold this summer. That's on him to do. If he doesn't do that and we don't see that, then you will clearly have to accept that he accepts he's number 2 at this club. Right? You have to accept that, yeah? And you have to accept that Tuchel shows you that he's number 2 by bringing Mendy in for yesterday's game, by bringing Mendy in for the League Cup final, by bringing him for the World Cup final when he's come back from Africa Nations Cup right away, by starting Mendy, by not dropping Mendy even after the clanger of the Wilms's first leg, playing him against Southampton, playing him in the next leg. He clearly foresees that Mendy is his number 1, no matter what. And he's not doing anything different than any other Chelsea manager has done or any other manager in this Premier League is doing right now. They have a clear number 1 and a clear number 2. And no other fan bases really talk about their number 2 goalkeeper. Man City will, because of what the goalkeeper did on Saturday, because of the clang he did.
Then I could come back at you and say, look at what a Liverpool second choice goalkeeper did against us.
That's right, but I bet you this though. They're not talking about it. They're only talking about it when he plays. They're not saying, I bet you they didn't think he should have started against City on Saturday. I bet they said, no, we're starting Alisson. There was no discussion in the Liverpool fan base about starting Kelleher against Man City. Not a chance, or in any semi-final. All these semi-finals against Villarreal. It will not be Kelleher, especially if they win like 3 or 4-0. It'll still be they'll start Alisson. But there's no to talk about starting Kelleher against Man United this Tuesday because Alisson played. There's no discussion about this. Number 2 goalkeepers only get talked about when they play. Okay, they don't get talked about when they're not playing, because every club has a defining number 1. We had it under Cech, we had it under Courtois, we now had it under Mendy. Well,
here's the thing, Andrew. Let me try and restate myself. This is not about who's number 1 or number 2. This is about the treatment of to me. That's my personal opinion. Kepa has been treated poorly. That without even knowing it, we're creating a problem for ourselves. What happens if Mendy gets injured?
Then Kepa plays.
Yeah.
Then do you think he'd be in the right mindset?
The
treatment isn't fair. That's the whole thing.
Of course he is. What do you think is he? Is he 6 years old?
Okay, that's my Declan. Let me bring you in, Declan. Go
yeah,
ahead.
I'm dying to go. Yeah, you're lucky Matt's not here too. I would have had a field day if Matt was here as well. Coach, I don't understand what you want. Do you want Kepa? Like, you rate Mendy as well, yeah?
Yeah, I like them
Of
both.
course.
I just
So
think.
do we have 1 week
from a man management perspective? I don't think he's done the selection process correctly.
So I'm just asking. Do you want Mendy to start 1 week and then Kepa the next week and then Mendy the other week and then, like, do you want is that ideal scenario for you?
That is not my argument. I've given you examples of what happened.
And you talked about fairness. Do you remember this guy didn't want to sub off in that final?
Sorry, could
You
you
guys-
say
you guys
that
all-
again?
You guys all remember when Kepa didn't want to get subbed off?
Yeah,
You're talking about fairness and stuff.
2019.
We're going to talk about morals
That
and
was
fairness
on the
and
Sarri.
yeah, and you guys brought up professionalism as well. Look, in the sense of Kepa, right? And Andrew said he accepted it, but I don't think he accepted number 2 in a different way. Now I agree that what you guys meant in a different way. He hasn't accepted it because he came to this club as a number 1. Hey, what are you doing, Nick? Nick's having a field day with his phone.
Yeah, I'm not sure where that sound is coming from. Go ahead.
Nick's, so Kepa came here as a number 1, right? So he does feel like a number 1. He's on number 1 wages, right? And he lost his spot. And Kepa is now having his best form in the little performances that he does get, right? Then since he's been here, because you guys forgot about that Kepa that made all these mistakes and was copping long range goals, and you guys forgot about all that. And now he's having some good games and he's getting support. But the only reason he's having good games because he is trying to fight for that number 1 spot. He feels like a number 1, and when he can't, he's going to do everything he can.
Last thing you said again.
He feels like a number 1.
And he's fighting for the number 1 spot, and that's why he is doing well, right? Go ahead.
That's why he's performing. But what's going to happen is, right? There's only so much you can fight. Mendy has been too good, and come end of the season, I think he's going to push to go be number 1 somewhere else, because he hasn't accepted number 2 in that sense, right? He's accepted he's number 2 now, but fighting to get number 1 spot, right? But he's still. He feels he can be a number 1 somewhere else, so he will push for a move, right? But to try and make him like we're meant to rotate, well, that's going to kill Mendy's confidence too. If you just want to do 1 week Mendy, 1 week Kepa.
I never said anything about.
No. I said that. I'm telling you.
I never said anything about rotation.
Nobody's understanding what you're saying.
But what ideal rotation would you like?
I'm not saying anything about rotation. I'm just saying what we've seen so far, whether he meant it or not, Thomas Tuchel has made us to believe, at least let me say me, to believe he doesn't trust Kepa Arrizabalaga, and that's what I'm talking about. I'm not saying anything about rotation.
He trusts Mendy more. They're both decent. They're both good keepers, right?
Let me start with you with this question. Tell me the importance of competition in a team.
It's important.
It's important. How important? That because in the sense that we're humans, if any player sees their position as theirs for taking, as let me say for keeps, and if they see any position as if they don't have any competition, it's easy for them to start their form to start dropping, right? But when they see competition, they become complacent. But when they see competition, you see them push.
Right.
Perform at 150% plus every time you give them a chance.
For defensive stability, you need a stable goalkeeper that you play week in, week out.
I'm coming. We'll come to that. Eric, let me start with you. And Andrew, I'll come to you later. Eric, tell me, does Mendy have a competition at Chelsea? Eric, are you there? Okay, I'll wait for when he comes back. Declan, you tell me, does Mendy have a competition at Chelsea?
Yes, but in that example that you gave, it's more easier for players to rotate and lose their spot in competition than other players, then especially goalkeepers. It takes a lot more.
The question is, does Mendy have competition at Chelsea? Does he?
Every keeper has competition. But the failure rate is a lot more. A keeper has to be out of form a lot or injured. So that rotation that applies to other players doesn't happen a lot.
I'm not by any means suggesting rotation here.
He doesn't.
I'm a rotation. What I'm saying is that
he doesn't. Mendy doesn't have competition.
Every goalkeeper,
Andrew?
He doesn't have competition.
Let me clear.
The fact that you don't trust another one means that there's no competition.
He doesn't. Clearly, Mendy has no competition. That's the problem here.
No.
Every goalkeeper has competition.
Hang on. Guys.
But he doesn't.
That's not a problem.
Wait. Let me hear something. Go ahead. You were saying something, Andrew.
Yeah, it's not a problem. This happens at every football club. I equate the football goalkeeping position, if you know what NFL is, to the quarterback position. The quarterback position at NFL, there is no competition. The backup, the levels are lower. The backup goalkeeper is the same. The levels aren't the same. There's no real competition. Look at every top European club. Look at every top English club. There's no real competition at goalkeeper. So why should there be competition at Chelsea? There shouldn't. We didn't have any competition for Czech, for Courtois. So why do we have to have competition for Mendy? It shouldn't. Your number one goalkeeper very rarely never gets really suspended, right? Odd occasion, gives away a penalty or something, last man. And very rarely gets injured. Because the physicality is different than an outfield player. So there really shouldn't be any competition. Your backup goalkeeper is there to come in to rotate for a few games every season. Lower league cup games, the European games that don't matter, maybe the odd league game. There is no real competition for goalkeepers at any club. Every single Premier League club and European club has a defined number one and a defined number two. It's that simple. And that's happened throughout football throughout the ages. And at this club, it's happened throughout the ages. So to say that he needs competition, no, if he goes off form or doesn't do well, he gets replaced. Like Kepa got replaced by Mendy. He didn't do well. He got replaced by Mendy and that was it. It's the same. If Mendy goes off and has a very bad season, he will get replaced by someone else. And then he'll be the number two. And the process goes on and on and on. It's never changing and it won't change. The goalkeeper shouldn't have any competition because he's there. He's going to be there for about 50 plus games that season. So competition doesn't.
I honestly do disagree that a goalkeeper shouldn't have a competition, but I'll come back to you, Andrew.
Coach, even not long ago, remember Leno Martinez as well? It's happened to us. We've checked. So every club, once the backup keeper gets in good form, right? They could be young. I forgot that one from Man United. Was his name Henderson? Yeah, Henderson. That's it. And so as soon as they do all right, it's not about I'm going to fight for my spot, or either I fight for my spot or I leave.
Move to another club.
There's no long term, right, competition for a spot. There might be temporary competition, which is happening now with Kepa and Mendy. But
there is no competition here. We're not seeing anything that says there's competition between the two goalkeepers. One is obviously preferred, which is not wrong. But you don't have to make it obvious. You don't have to make the other one look like it's nonsense. That's the risk here. If you get my point,
he's doing well.
How he's done that. I don't understand how he's done that. Really,
that's what you're thinking, Coach. It's not what they're thinking. That's not how it works. You're getting emotional, wanting to pacify Kepa when he doesn't need you to do that. He knows his position. He knows what he's doing at Chelsea. It's as clear as day. And if we start all this thinking, one way today, another way tomorrow, our defense will be a complete shambles. Just as the other guy said, we're not doing anything revolutionary here or unusual. This is how it is in football teams. You don't need somebody to just come in and be pushing out your number one simply because when they weren't there, they had a good game. That's all. You
don't get my. I don't think anybody here gets my. You're going to try to explain myself again. This is not about which of the goalkeepers is better than the other. This is about how Thomas Tuchel has gone about the selection. It creates a problem. You can't tell me that Kepa will be happy. Those two finals that he was supposed to start, he got benched.
It doesn't matter. Let me quick. I'm just going to add a quick point.
Who says he was supposed to start them? It's up to the manager who starts.
It's going to be a financial.
from what we're seeing on merit.
Merit schmerit. Whoever's better starts. I don't care.
Yeah, and there's going to be a
So
fun.
then
There's
that's
no merit.
you.
The merit of why Mendy
Well,
is
gonna
so
be-
certain because of the
change this.
performance.
Go ahead, Declan. I want to
just
bring
wanna
in
add this
Eric.
point.
Go ahead, Declan. I want to bring in Eric. Go ahead.
I just want to make this point. There's going to be a financial choice, right? When you're looking at these goalkeepers, Kepa makes more than 3 times what Mendy makes, right? And there's going to be a choice on who's number one. Kepa is on number 1 wages, and Mendy's on number 2 wages. But right now, right, you can see that Mendy has stolen number 1 spot, right, since he came in. That's how it was because Kepa wasn't good enough, right? Now that's why Kepa has to get off the books and Mendy has to get those wages or even close to it, right? And then that's why Kepa leaves. So the only reason to play him, which I made a comment, is to showcase him to make it better to sell. There is no long-term thing here with both of them to rotate and to keep happy and this that. One of them's leaving, right? And we know which one he is.
He's got
Most
3
likely.
years declared. This summer he's still got 3 years left of a 7-year contract.
Yeah, but I think he's going to push for it. There's a World Cup.
But what I'm saying is, we have to get rid of him because, like you said, the financial we paid the millions we paid for this guy. And I tell you what, if he goes, I'll guarantee this: we're gonna probably buy a replacement keeper. I'm gonna tell you right now, he won't be brought in to challenge Mendy. He'll just be there as a backup. That's what all number 2s will be. He'll be just.
And then that's the problem with us. The moment Mendy gets injured, then we know we have a backup goalkeeper between the sticks, and then we can expect a below par performance. That's the issue with us.
No,
and
but that's always
happened to us in all departments of the Chelsea of our team.
Coach, Caballero was the perfect backup goalkeeper. Every time he came on, he was excellent. He was excellent as saving penalties too. It's not about if you are the goalkeeping position is a unique part of the pitch. If if you're on the bench and you're back up to the number 1, if anything happens to the number 1, it doesn't mean to say because you're back up you're going to come in and give a below par performance because you're sulking on the bench because you're not number 1. You're there because you're able to play as good as, if not at times even better than the number 1. But the number 1 has been chosen for a reason. Overall, the person is usually the better goalkeeper. But that doesn't mean to say that your number 2 won't have flashes of better performances. That's why.
Can I just say?
Okay, let me bring Eric in. Eric, I want to start with this question. And before I ask you this question, please, if you're in the chat or wherever you're watching from, please be sure to like the video, to trigger the YouTube algorithm, to push the video to the stream to more people who'd be interested in this particular topic, because we're going to learn a lot from it. And believe me, I'm learning too. But the question I have, Eric, let me ask you this. This is not about who's better than the other. This is about the man management aspect of the whole thing and the risks that may, crop up because of how Tuchel has handled it. If you ask me again, that is my opinion. Do you think Tuchel has handled the selection process of both goalkeepers very, very well?
Yes, I think Tuchel has done fantastically well with the selection. I don't think Kepa deserves to play more than he has played. You can say he deserves it based on merits, but we have a number 1 keeper. And when you're in the final, your number 1 keeper starts. Tuchel made that mistake in the FA Cup last season, and he learned from that mistake. So for me, I agree with everything that Andrew said. I pretty much agree with everybody except, this idea that Kepa might be, getting bad treatment by Tuchel. Kepa might not, be feeling confident because he should be getting more minutes. I don't agree with that at all. I think this is how it works with goalkeepers. It's a very different position to like outfield players. You can't expect your number 2 to play so many, games. It's just normal. So yes, if Mendy gets injured, Kepa will play. He'll be the starting keeper. And then when Mendy's back, Kepa will go back to being number 2. It's as simple as that for me. So I don't really see any. There's no controversy here for me. But big up to the panel, big up to yourself, Coachella. I do have to leave like right now. I'll try and listen back. Listen in if you're still live when I have free time. But thanks for having me again.
All right, no problem. I appreciate your inputs there. Go ahead, say something. But before I go to Bobby, go ahead, Ty.
I don't think anybody is understanding why anybody's saying the reason why this is so unique is the fact that we're talking about Kepa. We're not talking about anybody else. We're talking about Kepa. The point is the man management has been different for Kepa because Kepa has had these issues. The main focus is supposed to be trying to keep both of them happy. Yes, Kepa was brought in to be the first choice. Obviously, due to circumstances, he lost his position and we eventually had to sign Mendy. But if the thing is, there's a mention about playing somebody on merit. We're speaking about Kepa. Kepa isn't somebody who deals with these type of situations quite easily, and he doesn't do well with these type of situations. The fact is that Kepa has not been performing well, in the past, and that's the reason why he lost his position. The thing is, the fact that he played in those games, and I can understand people say that he's basically doing the work until the first choice is back and until the final. But what is the point of playing him then if he's not gonna have a chance? Then might as well play your first choice goalkeeper from the beginning of the campaign, because the moment you're doing that, you're giving him the hope that if he continues to perform like this, maybe he'll play in the final. So at the end of the day, don't play him then, because it's basically makes no difference if the first choice is going to be playing the final. You might as well play him from the beginning because he's still going to play in the final. So the thing is, if it was not Kepa, I don't think this argument would be popping up about man management. But it's because it's Kepa who has not had the best situation when it comes on the confidence. This is being brought up.
Thank you for that input, Bobby. I want to come to you. Let's talk about this as human beings. When we see that our position isn't challenged, it's only natural for sometimes for us to be complacent. It happens even whether subconsciously or whether we know it, maybe intentionally. The fact is, this if it continues like this, it is clear. Let's be truthful to ourselves. We can from outside say, even Thomas Tuchel says, before he says Mendy is my number one choice of goalkeeper, we already know. And it's so clear that we can even tell, to me, I would say he doesn't trust Kepa. And that's not okay that it's so obvious like that. Because it doesn't even help Mendy. Mendy will not be on his toes in any way because he knows clearly, the manager has shown it, that this other goalkeeper is crap to me. You're the number one no matter what happens. It doesn't help him. It doesn't help also him, it doesn't push him to become even better, if you ask me. Just tell me your thoughts. Because now we've established no competition. Andrew agrees, and I agree, no competition. Nobody needs to say that. Mendy has no competition, and that's not okay. Even if you're number one, you should have competition. That's my argument. So you go ahead, Bobby. Tell me if you think if that helps Mendy, Edouard Mendy, the fact that he has no competition and the way the manager has gone about the selection process between the two goalkeepers spells it clearly on the wall. You have no competition no matter what happens. As long as these are the goalkeepers we have here, that number one position is yours. Tell me if it's okay for him.
Coach, I still say this, and I say this with all respect. This is in your head. I don't know where we get
it's just me thinking objectively. And I believe any other person that understands what I'm saying gets my point.
Let me just finish, This is all emotional stuff that probably doesn't even exist. Kepa cost what, 75 million? And he's on 155,000 a week. Mendy costs what, about 30 million? And he's on 52,000 a week. What do you mean there's no competition? I mean, I don't know what you want. And it just sounds like you're talking 1 minute about, there's no competition. Then it's all emotional. It's all about pacifying Kepa. He doesn't need your babysitting.
Let me tell you this first. Let me make something clear. Let me make something clear here. I prefer Mendy as the number one choice, but my argument is this, Bobby. Whoa. The way Tuchel has gone about it, it just spells it clearly on the wall to Mendy. Yeah. You have nothing to fear. And that's not okay. It doesn't make him better.
But that's not what he's saying. Tuchel is being
What else do you see?
He's saying, Mendy, you are number one. Mendy has not had a Do you know how long we persisted with Kepa before he lost his place? It was a long time. Mendy has just had what, 1 or 2 clangers, and when a keeper has those, you play them through it. This is not even an argument. I don't even know what we're saying here. It makes no sense. This Mendy is our number 1 keeper. He plays in crucial games. He plays because he gives us a better chance of winning. That's all. When he's not there, Kepa plays and he plays well. If he doesn't play well, his place is under threat from the number 3, who's sitting there clicking his heels, probably, according to you, feeling upset that where's the competition? Why can't I get a chance to get on the field? It doesn't work like that in that position. I'm sorry, it doesn't. Tuchel has done absolutely nothing wrong but kept our defensive stability by playing our best goalkeeper. Period.
I don't know how to explain this. Comment before I go to Declan and Andrew and Nick Blue here. Yeah. Go ahead. Fairboy, yeah. I'm not seeing it. Just says your device is not connected. Go ahead, Ty. You wanted to say something.
Yeah, I think this is the situation. The comparisons that are being made is of an average goalkeeper. Kepa is not like that, and that's the situation. He has confidence issues. The thing is, you're trying to keep him fine because you have your first choice goalkeeper. But if you're saying the message that, even if you're dropping this thing, and the narrative that he's only made 2 mistakes is false. He's made mistakes in a lot of games, but we're not going to speak about Mendy's mistakes because he's made a lot of them. The situation is Kepa has his issues. He has his confidence issue. It's about keeping him happy, but not letting it seem as if he can stand a chance. That's basically the attitude he's receiving. Because if Tuchel is saying that Mendy is my first choice, you're gonna be the backup. It's like you're saying that when this person is not around, you're gonna be the one I trust, and that's not right because you're saying that even if it's the truth, you can't let it play off like that. And that's why man management is so important. You have to have some balance. You can't let it say that Mendy, you're gonna be playing. Kepa can just play whenever you're not around, or when you're too mentally drained and you need a break. That's the attitude you can't be sending because that's gonna be sending him. If it was anybody else, I would be completely fine with it. But it's because it's Kepa. Kepa has had his confidence issue. And like Coach said, if it's a case where Mendy is injured and you bring Kepa in, Kepa's gonna have an issue to readapt to playing now because he's gonna be saying that, look at this, I have not been playing before. Mendy's injured, I'm playing now. That is the attitude you're sending.
Tyrone, I'm really sorry to cut you short, but mate, at 155k a week, you've got to have more mental strength than that. Sorry.
He should, but he doesn't have it.
But that's not the argument here. The argument is, Bobby, can you try and see things from the man management aspect? I think you've already, but I get your argument.
He's been man managed perfectly. His account is well managed as well. I mean, come on, guys.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Let me quickly go to Andrew. But I want to go through the chat quickly. I think I see some comments here. Hamsmaster says Mendy has made a lot of errors, but a lot of them he's unfortunate. But we saw some errors that didn't go his way. True Blue Bobby, he cost 71 million, and it was a buyout clause. Stop waffling. Okay, we should mind how we phrase our comments so that it doesn't come across as insulting to anybody. Anyhow, Mendy is overrated, says Hamsmaster, and Fraser says, I cannot see Tuchel get a ball-playing goalkeeper like Pep did in 2 years' time. And this is Tayo Adeyemi. Folks are questioning TT even when he gets... This is not questioning him. This is all... I don't know if you don't understand the context. Please ask somebody else who will explain it to you. Imagine Kepa given in interviews... Okay, thank you. Good one. If Mendy don't improve with his feet, don't be shocked if Tuchel gets a ball-playing goalkeeper who is good with his feet, given Mendy competition. No, you see, we're learning here that there's no competition for goalkeepers. It doesn't matter. If Tuchel finds a goalkeeper that's good as Mendy and better on his feet, then Mendy becomes backup, whether you like it or not. I think we cannot.
Do you know what? That's fair. That would happen. If Tuchel thinks he can't train Mendy to be at least decent or just above decent with his feet, because I just want him to pass and just boot it. I don't even want him to pass. I just want him to boot it. I don't care about passing out from the back. Sometimes just boot it. But if he finds another goalkeeper, like I said, or Mendy's form goes off and it doesn't return, and he wants to bring another goalkeeper, Mendy will just have to accept number 2 or move on like Kepa will. It's the rotation. It's what happens. But I understand. Listen, I think I think Tuchel is very honest with these guys. He will sit down with both of them. He will sit down with Kepa and say, listen, at this time, Mendy's my number 1, but I'm going to make sure you are prepped and ready to go at all times, like when the African Nations was happening. He knew Kepa would have to step in for a lot of games. So to get him mentally prepared for those games, and Kepa played well during that time. I thought he would start the League Cup game because he'd started the rest. So I was surprised when Mendy started. Doesn't mean I didn't want him to start, but I was surprised he did. But I think that's been actually one of Tuchel's biggest attributes is his man management of this team and this squad. Because if you remember, to pick them up from where he got them last January to Champions League winners is a miracle after what Lampard did to them and destroyed them, to pick them up. So I think his man management is actually one of the best in the league. So I wouldn't even have any issues with his talk about his man management, because he's always got these guys ready. We're not hearing a lot of things coming. We're not hearing at all about any frustrations Kepa's having at all, like other players. We're not even hearing it from. All we're hearing is that maybe he'll go out on loan this summer or something like that, which is fair. Which is fair. Is what he should do. If he doesn't see himself as a number 2, that's absolutely fair. Go out and learn your trade again. Go out and be the best you can. You shouldn't. If you don't think you're number 2, you shouldn't stay in a number 2 position. Go and get a number 1. But I think Tuchel's man management is absolutely fine. I see it in this squad. I see how they react to him. I see what they want. Look at his man management of Ruben Loftus-Cheek. You know what I mean? Recently, bigging up in the press. He comes on and plays excellent against Real Madrid and scores a great goal yesterday. So,
Andrew, haven't you had this argument not long ago? We've all had this argument with when it was Quota and Czech, who were at that time the biggest goalkeeper. It's a more higher level than we're talking about at the moment.
Yes, you're right. The thing was that with that was like Courtois was brilliant away to Atletico Madrid. You either play him or you sell him. And Peter Cech, that was the choice that Mourinho made.
And everyone was making the same points as we are now, because they had some kind of fear we're going to lose one of them.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this: did we have a situation where Petr Cech was the cup goalkeeper, and then in the final we swapped him and then started what's his name? Thibaut Courtois. Did it happen?
I don't. Was 17?
I think it was 18, even worse.
Wait.
It didn't.
I don't know. Was it 14?
It didn't. That's a different case. We shouldn't be comparing that thing. But let me go.
But do you feel that Czech should have played more back then?
That was only one season though. He was back up to Courtois and then he left.
Yeah, but everyone was making the same points as now, and where it all came from was where it all generated from. The initial agenda was that people wanted to keep both, and people want to keep both now too, for some reason. And the reality is that Kepa has to go. One of them is going to take the wage. You want Mendy to go, or do you want Kepa to go? Right? That's the reality of it.
That's not. I don't. Can we not just derail the topic here and go to a different thing so that it doesn't?
Yeah.
I'll come back to you, Andrew. And
oh no, I'm fine. Let's move.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, Nick. Fairboy, just be patient with me. I'll come to you. I know you just joined. Nick, anything you want to say before I go to Fairboy?
Yeah, I think the Kepa situation, you're just going around in circles, the same talk all the time. It's very boring now. I think you should change the subject.
Yeah, okay, we'll change the subject. I know, Fairboy, you joined because of this topic in particular. Fairboy, let me know your opinion on how Tuchel has handled the selection of both players Then I'll ask you the follow-up question. Maybe we switch our topic then. Okay, then Fairboy isn't there. Max, how you doing, brother? Max, can you hear me? He's added, yeah, but I don't think he's close to his microphone or something like that. Let me try and go through the chat. Okay, while we wait for Max, let me know when you come in. I want to get Max input before we switch to the topic. Declan, you were saying something. Do you have anything else to add?
Maybe Nicky's right. We're going in circles. I don't get the argument. I've heard this. It's deja vu when it was Czech and Quarter, when it was in goals. And this scenario, you can look back. There's a lot of these scenarios where as soon as a backup goalkeeper starts to be pretty good, it's a hot. I'm going to call it a Highlander situation. There can only be one, right?
And we had it when we signed Czechs. We had Kulicini, and Kulicini was excellent. Yeah, he was great. But Czech came in and Kulicini went to backup. It's happened all the time. It's just
and someone mentioned that Tuchel's not going to find a ball-playing goalkeeper. If Mendy's not good, they're going to push to buy another goalkeeper, and then Mendy will be the new Kepa. And this is reality. This is what's been done. I don't know why everyone's pretty surprised about the situation and are demanding for Kepa, because Kepa, this is the best we've seen Kepa.
Yeah.
He didn't come in this form. If Kepa played like this, we wouldn't have got Mendy. So it's his kind of he created the situation.
How many of those goals can be blamed on them? How many goals that you conceded were goals where you say, "Oh crap, he should have stopped that"?
A lot.
There's quite a few.
How many of them are not?
The fact that he didn't want to get subbed as well, that was a big no-no as well. And he had a really bad form.
I think probably. Go ahead.
I don't know what Ty was going to say. Like, do you rate is Kepa better than Mendy?
I didn't say that.
I'm asking. To get an idea where you're at, I'm asking, just so we know.
You see, it's all about interpretation. What I'm saying is that how many of those goals was conceded due to him? The defense did good enough in front of him. How many of those goals are similar to the ones Mendy's conceding right now? Is it because Mendy's bad, or is it because the opponents are good?
The opponents are the issue. Kepa was that bad, right?
Let me explain this.
Copped a lot of unnecessary goals that we went and bought another goalkeeper.
Hold on. Let me explain
this. Does that sum it up for you?
Let me just explain this. The goal that Rodrigo scored against Mendy in the Real Madrid game, how similar is that goal to the goal that he conceded when he played against Ajax?
I'm not talking about now. I'm talking about the goals from when Lampard was in.
I'm talking about when the goals that.
I'm talking about when he first came in under Sarri, under Lampard. I'm talking about those years.
How many of those goals were from distance?
Doesn't matter how many distance. There's I can do a whole compilation. I can go find for you of his mistakes, right? That caused us to go by Mendy. You're trying to say now you're trying to cherry pick some goals that he copped and say, well, this one was his fault too. We can be here all day. We can go find them all. There's a reason why we went and bought Mendy. Would you say the club overreacted in buying Mendy and they should have not bought Mendy, which was a perfect gem?
Because Kepa was not in the position to be trusted. Kepa was not in the position to be trusted, and that's the reason why we brought Mendy in, because Kepa was mentally drained. He was not in the right headspace.
I have two people here.
Everyone's making excuses.
I have two people here that I want to get their opinion on the topic before we'll talk. We're going to the build-up for the Chelsea versus Arsenal game.
Give me a chance to go get chips. I want to hear what Matt's going to say.
Yeah, Fairboy, welcome to the panel. Max, the same to you. Fairboy, your thoughts on this topic we've talked about, more especially from management perspective. It's not about comparing who's better than the other.
Can you hear me, guys?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Sorry, I've been listening to this whilst doing shopping, so I'm just on my way somewhere. I'm driving, so hopefully it's fine. But guys, I'm sorry, I'm with totally in the Bobby camp here and the Winter Surfer camp. Kepa came into our side as the number one. He had his chances. He had 2 seasons to prove his worth. He didn't take it, hence the need to sign Mendy. So we signed Mendy as the number 1. So when you're as the number 1 in the team, the goalkeeper's position's a position you shouldn't change around a lot. I understand the sentiment of playing keepers in cup games to make them feel involved and part of the team. But at the end of the day, we are all about winning, okay? As Bobby said correctly, Tuchel was probably looking at the game against Leicester, where through no fault of his own, apart from his height, is that he didn't get to that ball by Tielemans. So we want to win a competition, so we've got to give ourselves the best possible chance of winning a competition. Okay, Kepa's done well this season since he's come back. There's no doubt in that, but he's not our number 1. And if a lot of people, I hear them saying that he should have played in the cup final. But if we had played in the cup final, it probably wouldn't have even gone to penalties. We'd have been beaten over the 90 minutes, because a lot of you are forgetting that Mendy made some world-class saves in that competition in order for us to get to penalties in the first place. So sentiment is good. Sometimes it can be, but at the end of the day, it's a professional sport, and what we do need to do is remember that. These guys are professionals. They have to understand and accept their position. And as a goalkeeper, your position is, there's a number 1 and there's a number 2. That's the pecking order of a goalkeeper. We saw what happened with Manchester City the other day when they played their reserve goalkeeper. That cost them a place in the competition. And last year against us, Edison played against us in the semis. There's a case to argue that they may have beaten us that day because they got their number 1 goalkeeper in situ. So I just feel that, so for instance, if as I said, if Kepa had played yesterday and he made a mistake, everyone would have been on Thomas Tuchel's back. Why did Kepa play? Just like we heard it the other went in the cup final. People were saying, why did Kepa play? He should have played our best players to give us the opportunity to win that game. So as a manager, these are the hard decisions that he has to make. And what goes around comes around. I just caught the tail end of what Declared was saying. We're talking about being professional. Kepa didn't show any professionalism in that League Cup final against Manchester City when he refused to come off the pitch. So, as I said, Kepa's played well this season. There's no doubt. Yeah, but I trust in Thomas Tuchel, and whatever decision he makes, then I am all for it. To be honest.
Okay, can I ask you something quickly, Max? This is not about, again, I'm going to say this again because I just want to get your thoughts. Soon we'll be reviewing the FA Cup semi-final versus Crystal Palace. Max, this is not about which of the 2 goalkeepers is better than the other. I prefer Mendy. I must let you know this. So it's not about being biased. It's not about like it's in my head or something like this.
Yeah.
But I don't think Thomas Tuchel has handled the selection properly. That's my own opinion. You don't even need Thomas Tuchel to come out and say, this is my number 1 before you understand that Mendy is the number 1 goalkeeper. It's there for everyone to see how he's handled the selection process. I don't think he's doing the way he's doing it is going to be crushing to Kepa Arrizabalaga. But that's, by the way, the one I want to ask you is this. Is it okay that Mendy feels like, because the way the whole thing he's going about the selection, Mendy will see it clearly on the wall that my place, I have no competition. Well, no matter what happens, I keep my place.
No. Because if you remember last season, something happened with, I can't remember what happened with Mendy, but then did he make a big mistake last season? And then he was omitted for a couple of games. So, or I think Tuchel has not made. He may not have made a mistake, but then Tuchel omitted him after he's been playing well, and just to keep him on his toes. So he's got. That's what competition's there for, to keep you on your toes. So,
but that's not the case now. That's my argument. That's not the case now. Mendy doesn't have competition, and it's clear for everything that happens. He doesn't. He wouldn't be fearing anybody coming in for him as long as these are the three goalkeepers who have Bettinelli and Kepa Arrizabalaga behind him. From what he's seen, he's been shown that you have nothing to worry about.
He's made one mistake against Real Madrid, but if he had made, I bet your dollar, if he made 2 or 3 mistakes in consecutive matches, he wouldn't be playing. So that's when you start to question the manager if he's like going through a rough period and he's still in the side. For one mistake, the problem is when a goalkeeper makes a mistake, the whole world knows about it. A defender can make a mistake, you've got a covering goalkeeper. A midfielder can make a mistake, you've got defenders covering. But when a goalkeeper makes a mistake, it's highlighted because it can lead to a goal. No, Kepa's that was a one mistake. Okay, it was an unfortunate mistake, but and I've listened to Bobby earlier as well, and I agree with him. That would have dented his confidence even further. If as a manager, you say, you know what, you made this mistake. You go in, you redeem yourself in the next match, and that's what he did because. I thought he played okay. The 2 goals, people are blaming him for those 2 goals, which I think is ridiculous because they were both like 2 yards out. But he made a couple of big saves in that game. But I don't think after one mistake you leave somebody out. So I think that would not be fair for me.
Yeah, let me say this, Max. I think most people misunderstood my argument here. I'm not saying drop Mendy. Kepa Arrizabalaga, no, that's not it. And I know Andrew Shuki said he understood that too. That's not my argument. I'm just saying the way things have, from what I've seen so far, you don't even need to spell it out to Mendy that he has no competition. And everybody on the panel agreed he has no competition. Tuchel has made it seem that way. So, but I want us to quickly switch to reviewing the game. Because I think we're just going to be going in circles all around and coming back to the same conclusions. But that's, by the way, I hope you understand my argument is that I don't think, again, I would try, if you ask me, I would say Tuchel hasn't handled the selection process too well. If you ask me, it's too obvious that Mendy will subconsciously take things for granted because there's no competition. And it's not anybody's fault. It is the fact that the way Tuchel has gone about the whole selection process. I know you're driving, Max. Any final thoughts from you before I go to Fairboy and Max, so we can switch topic?
Because I've got some stuff to do. But yeah, that's jumped on for that point.
Fine. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Yeah, that's one last thing. Football's all about opinions. Obviously, you've got your opinions. I've got my opinion.
Yes.
I think you misunderstanding Mendy as well. Mendy's a down-to-earth guy. He's come from, humble upbringings, and everyone knows his story. He's not a prima donna. He's not one of these prima donna footballers. Okay, so this guy fought all his life to get where he is now, to position he is now, and I don't think he's going to allow complacency to get into his game. He's not going to be thinking, I can let my standards drop because I'm guaranteed a place regardless. I think he's got that mindset and that mentality to say, you know what, I'm a professional. I'm going to try and play to the best of my ability all the time. He's a fighter. He's got that fighting in him. So I don't think that's gonna affect him. As far as Kepa goes as well, for me, he was brought in as a number 1. You don't spend 70 million for somebody to sit on a bench. And I don't think that we'll be seeing him at the club next season anyway, because there's talk of Lazio and other teams after him. A number 2, a good number 2 is somebody who's reliable, you can depend on, who can do a job for you when your number 1 is out. But he's happy to sit on the bench as a number 2. What we had with Kepa is a thing, we're trying to appease him because of his price tag and everything else. So I just feel that we've reached a point now where we've had to obviously we couldn't offload him because of his price tag. Now I think we can in a position to probably cut our losses a little bit, let him go, and then we bring in a number 2 who is good. A good replacement in case our keeper gets injured. It doesn't need to be a world-class number 2. It needs to be a capable number 2 who could do a job for a number of games. So you look at Man City's number 2, you look at Liverpool's number 2. They are decent goalkeepers. Would they get into the first team of a regular basis of a Chelsea, even a Tottenham and an Arsenal? Probably not, but they can come in and do a job when required. And so, so that's the points I've got to make. So,
yeah, thank you very much, Max. So that's why I always seek your input when we discuss such topics. So I appreciate you finding time to join, and great input from you. And again, like there's always something to learn from everybody if you pay attention. So we'll switch the topic in a bit. Max, quickly, Matt, please take 1 minute, please, to tell us, give us your opinion on the topic.
I mean, yesterday, Mendy did fantastic. I mean, it was fantastic. But on this point that Kepa obviously is going to be leaving, I think even more because after I said Coachella, if he doesn't start this game, then Tuchel doesn't have any backing in him, and I think that's kind of sad because he is fantastic enough to be a first keeper somewhere else. I don't think he should be a first keeper at Chelsea. Obviously, we've got Mendy as that position, but in these type of games where Kepa can come in, he can come in slot in these type of positions. But people want to always look at the past. If we're talking about 2-3 years ago, that's just irrelevant. 2-3 years ago, Mendy wasn't even playing football professionally. So Kepa was at least in the squad. He's developed under Tuchel. He's a new player under Tuchel. And I actually understand if he leaves in August because he's getting a lot of disrespect. So, bit up to Mendy. He's fought hard in his position to get the number one. I respect him, but he hasn't. How do I explain it? Kepa hasn't. Mendy hasn't really had competition because, as you said, Coach, I remember me and you will always say this that there was never any competition because Tuchel preferably always liked one keeper. But that's pretty much it about it. Mendy's number one, Kepa number two. Kepa should be in these type of games. He's not. The consequence will happen. He'll move on and he'll perform better somewhere else. People want a second goalkeeper to come in. I think Kepa's the best backup goalkeeper in the world. Take away his wages, we can possibly get something done. But I don't think that'll happen.
Yeah, thank you very much. So we'll quickly switch to the final thoughts here. Mikhail says, so now he says, so now we want a backup goalkeeper instead of two starting goalkeepers. Well, I don't know how to argue against that. Apparently, that is just the way it works in football. You have one first choice goalkeeper, and here we have a second choice goalkeeper backup. Let me let's use second choice backup. So it doesn't matter what he does, and the first choice starts. But that's, by the way, again, I learned quite a lot from everybody. Maybe it's a tradition that will never change. And Mikhail says, Coachella, what about the campaign against buying backups all the time instead of starters? Well, I don't know how to argue against that. You've heard everybody express their opinion, and we're all entitled to our respective opinions. So with that, I think we should just talk about the game, the semifinals, the win against Crystal Palace. So I'll start with you, Bobby. Your thoughts on the performance of the boys on the day.
Can I just come in? Coach, can I have a word or shall I go? Look,
go ahead if you want to.
Yeah, look, before you start with the Arsenal game, I want to get something straight about yesterday's game.
Not the Arsenal game. We're talking about yesterday's game.
Yeah, I know. I just want to say something about yesterday's game, the semi-final. I heard too many silly comments going on about the atmosphere. We filled up our end up completely. There was not one seat empty. First half, Palace, that's how they are. They front, they lose, they're winning, they're losing 4-5-0, they still don't stop. That's what they do. That's how their fans are. But look, Chelsea, we're not worse than all these people are saying. There's no atmosphere anymore. No atmosphere at the bridge, no atmosphere yesterday. They're bloody wrong. Because, it's not. The problem is the mentality now of our new generation is they don't get excited when we're playing Palace, Burnley, Watford, teams like that. They don't get excited too much. But I assure you, when we play Liverpool or Man United or Tottenham or Arsenal, bring the big clubs, and we always out-sing them. So all this nonsense I heard last night makes me sick. That's what I want to say.
All right. I hope those you're referring to, I hope they were listening. So, Bobby, I'm going to come to you. Your thoughts on the performance of the boys against the Crystal Palace overall, first half, second half. Did anything stand out to you?
Yeah, I mean, I get very much what Nick is saying. As I've said, I've supported Chelsea.
And just 1 second, I'll be out for about a minute or two, but you guys can go ahead with the conversation. Bobby, I'll leave everything to you to handle until I'm back.
I've supported Chelsea a very long time. I've seen a lot. I've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I'm the first to say Chelsea away fans, they're second to none. You look at what those fans did at the Bernabeu, it was absolutely incredible. They were stuck up in the highest corner of the stadium, hidden from the view of the cameras. Yet as full as that stadium was, 70-odd thousand, you could hear Chelsea fans above the home fans. However, the point yesterday that was made was the big thing for a lot of us. Results aside, the result was incredible. We're into our third FA Cup final, and rightly so. And we really have to do everything we can to win it, despite the officials. But the support compared to Palace was embarrassing. For us, the magnitude of club that we are, I know what Nick is saying. We've now got ourselves spoiled, and we're now, we're up for the big games and a little bit, less enthusiastic about the lesser games. What it has shown me, actually, is that Chelsea need to go back a certain step to the days of proper supporters clubs, proper support. Because of our past and some of the wrong things that happened when groups of lads got together, we all know, I know Nick knows, maybe some of you here is too young to know. We all know what we were. We know the reputation we had, and we know that had to be dissolved. And I think it's partly because of that Chelsea are weary of having that level of what the Italians will call ultras supporting the club. People like Crystal Palace, clearly you could see there, for want of a better word, ultras on display yesterday. And I don't like seeing our fans outdone in a big semi-final at Wembley by the opposition. We can't let that happen.
Bobby, 1 minute. Let me come in on your point. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. But like I said, Chelsea go loud when they think they need to. They think, we all thought when it was 0-0 at half-time, we all knew we were going to win at the end. Every single fan in that stadium knew Chelsea were going to win in the end. So they don't get, how can I say it? They don't get so much loud.
Excited.
Because let me finish. Because they're confident we're going to win. But when we play Liverpool, I guarantee you, when we play Liverpool in the final, it's not going to be the same. We're going to outsing those Liverpool scum.
But can I ask you this, Nick? You just made the point. Wait,
let me finish. Yeah,
go ahead, finish.
Point. But yesterday, in the second half, when we started going, first half was rubbish. It was very slow. No one played good in the first half. But second half, we came out a bit, and you can see, the atmosphere was changing. Especially when Ruben scored the goal, it changed. The atmosphere changed. And we couldn't hear them. What? Wait, the Palace was singing, but we couldn't hear them because we were too loud for them. And they didn't feel they ended up. They had about 20,000 fans there yesterday. Most.
We should always, there's one thing about Liverpool. I know it's the same everywhere. Same at Liverpool, same at Arsenal. They bring themselves up for the big games. But the point is, this was a big game. And not only were we
it was against a small team.
Let me finish.
You can't put Crystal Palace up there with Liverpool City, United.
Let's talk one by one. And Nick, from what you said, there's a point you made. I think I have something to say about it when Bobby is done. Bobby, go ahead if you're still talking.
Yeah, let me just finish, right? I know what Nick is saying, but we can't. The point is, we can't do that in an FA Cup semi-final at Wembley. It doesn't matter who we're playing. Our presence must be felt as a fan base. Now, I'll tell you what. 2008 was it, or 2007? mid 2008, when we played the Champions League's, I think, quarterfinals against Liverpool at the Bridge. I was doing a lot of the security that day. Stamford Bridge was rocking. You could hear the floor of the stand was trembling. That is the kind of support we can bring, albeit, that came from the Liverpool fans as well. But I don't think I've ever seen anything like it. That day was incredible. Now we can do this. I just feel that on this one occasion, albeit it's a one occasion, that allowing Palace to have that presence that, over and above us, to us, there was almost like a picnic, people there, dates with their girlfriends, bringing little toddlers around. It's all good, but there should be that section of fans that is hardcore Chelsea fans, not like it was in the old days where when you had hardcore Chelsea, they were hardcore.
Bobby, look, those fans you're talking about, they were there yesterday. But like I said, they were there. Matthew Harding lot, the Shedden lot, they were all there. But they just didn't get excited because it's a small club and we knew we were going to win that game. But,
let me ask this. Okay, Nick, from what you just said, that brings to mind a very important topic. That thing is called the Charity FC. Could that be the reason, the fact that you just said you guys weren't at your best because it was Crystal Palace and you guys knew we were going to win? To me, that's a problem. That's a problem. Could that be one of the contributing factors to what we call a Charity FC? We do better when we play big teams, but we underperform when we play smaller teams.
Exactly.
That comment you just made brings that to mind.
Yeah.
And it's not okay. It's dangerous. I have to tell you the truth. It's a dangerous mindset.
Me, I was really scared because as long as it went to 0-0, and they missed an open goal, I thought, look, it would take a goal for you not to get going. And I was shouting at the fans there yesterday, trying to get them up, and they wouldn't. So, some did. We wasn't that dead, but I'm just trying to say the mentality of our generation right now is not good. We're the old core. We don't change. We always sing. And if they give us a chance to get together in our thousands, which we do sometimes, going away, big games at the Bridge, like Real Madrid at the Bridge. Don't tell me that there wasn't any atmosphere. And we were losing by 2 goals, and we never stopped singing. So, it depends on the team.
Nick, if I can say, I think what it is, what I noticed at Wembley was, you're right, there was complacency. And, we blame a lot on the young set of fans, but we've got a load of young lads that are very vocal at games. And it's just they weren't sitting together. Everybody was, even you were away from the other sort of vocal fans. You were singing alone a lot of the time. And, you can't do it in silos. You've got to be together. That's the point I'm making.
That I agree.
Okay,
that's a good point you made, because it will be a good... Wait, let me finish, Coach. Yeah, that's a great point you made. Like you said, supportive groups, they should organize with the fans, to get together and have that, what Palace have. We need to, imagine Chelsea having ultras again, how loud that's going to be. It can only be good for the club. That's a good point, and I agree 100%. And I will back that, and I will mention that to anyone I see, to the supporters groups as well.
We've got another chance now. The FA Cup final, I don't want it to be like the League Cup final, because Liverpool, give it to them, crikey, that League Cup final, flares and everything. They were vocal, and they should not be out singing us. We should match them in the stands. That's what we can do for our team to encourage them to victory.
Yeah. So anybody want to add anything to the final issue so that we can quickly switch to the game proper? Andrew declared, Matt, any of you want to add anything?
I just add this. It's just, listen, I think that's right. I don't think the fans, the atmosphere at all stadiums, I don't think it's good I think it's only good for like 10 games per season. I believe even like the great Anfield that people always talk about, it's not. I know Liverpool fans who go there and they tell me the atmosphere is not great for most games. I think it all depends on the thing. I thought yesterday it should have done better. So, like you said, I think Nick's right. I think there was arrogance in the crowd, saying we're going to win, so we don't really have to get up for it. I think the atmosphere will be different for the Liverpool final, obviously. But you know what? The players probably needed the fans yesterday. They just come through 120 minutes. They were just out of the European Cup. And I don't care what anyone says. I do feel some players or most players feed off the fans as well to get that extra boost. And
no question about that.
Yeah, the first half you saw it. Second half it improved, but I think that's just modern day fans as well. Some of them it's just we'll cheer when we want, essentially.
Yeah, Declan, anything from you?
Yeah, I was just gonna add. If I can wake up my neighbors in the middle of the night and like they put their house up for sale, then you guys got to lift up the atmosphere over there, I guess. So if I can do it from here, you guys lift your game, I guess. It's a message to everyone.
Yeah, that's a great point to clear.
Yeah, that's great point there.
But we have to do like Bobby said. I was hearing the comments yesterday on the Blue Lounge, and I heard everything, and that's a good idea. If we can do that, get together and take it to the supporter groups, that'd be massive. But we have to try and do that, not just talk about it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's important, and I think Andrew made an important comment there. Some people feed off the support of the fans. That they're. So I think the term where the term is the 12th man. Where did that go? It's very important. Support is important, very very important. And I'm glad we have somebody like Nick here who has a connection with the supporters group. Maybe we should find a way to try and educate them on. It doesn't matter the team. It doesn't matter the stage. Of the competition we play, we participate in. We have to all try our best to make our voices heard. Let the players know we're there. It makes a whole lot of difference. Sometimes after games, you could hear players say the support today was amazing. That's because they feed off of it. But that's by the way. Matt, anybody else want to say anything on that topic before we go and talk about the game strictly? All right, that's by the way, Bobby. I don't know. I was with you before Nick came in. Your thoughts on the game, the performance of the boys overall. We're going to do the ratings in a bit. What do you think? What stood out for you?
Well, I thought they were very professional yesterday. Palace are no mugs. They're a tough team to play against, but clearly our class showed. I think after 120 minutes at the Bernabeu, high octane, a couple of other. How many? Crikey! Chelsea at the end of this season would have played 63 of the 66 games able to play, and it will equate to 66 if we take in all the extra times we've played, penalties and everything. Those lads, they're tired. Let's not, they're on their feet, or dead on their feet. But Tuchel did a good thing yesterday. He rotated in a very, very clever way. Thank God the FA Cup is 5 subs, bringing on people like Thiago Silva and Kante late in the second half, and so on. We did a job on Palace. No disrespect to Palace, but there was a clear golf in class. What I liked better was after the game, they're up for Liverpool. They're up for Liverpool. There's no guarantees, but the attitude we take into that game will take us a long way to put in what happened in the League Cup final, right?
Yeah, I think I agree with you. I think it was a good performance, and we have to take into account that we played extra time against Real Madrid and all. I think it wasn't that easy. They looked tired, but yet they were professional overall in their execution of the game, and that's good to see. Ty, what stood out for you in that game? Before I want to get everybody's thoughts on the game overall before we get into the rating.
The fighting spirit, because obviously after the first half we weren't the greatest. It took us I would probably say the latter stage of the first half and then the beginning of the second half for us to start building more fluidity. Obviously we didn't really have much progressive movement from the midfield. And then obviously Ruben Loftus-Cheek was playing a bit more advanced, so obviously he was starting to be more in the box, and he was decisive, obviously, because obviously he scored the goal and he was in the right position for it. But the second half showed more fighting spirit for me, and it just showed that the team is slowly but surely building up a more competitive attitude.
Yeah, I agree with you. Andrew, your turn. What stood out for you in that game?
I think obviously the introduction of Loftus-Cheek. Shame that Kovacic has now got his annually year-ending injury or near about that he always seems to get, like he did last season. I thought the subs were important as well.
You cursed it.
I did.
Said you worried about the fucking margin.
Yeah, but yeah, Loftus-Cheek obviously came in, did well. Like I say, I think Bobby said, I think it was, you're going to hear this a lot probably from even pundits, a professional performance. Wasn't outstanding. There was 2 bits of quality, I think, and we scored them. I think that's the main difference in the sides. If you don't score against top sides like Chelsea early, you're always gonna suffer. And really, Palace, apart from, I think that first bit when Mendy saved and they hit the post but it was offside, and that header, I think that's the only thing I can really recall them doing throughout the entire game. And like I said, from then on they were just trying to catch us, and it was just comfortable in the end. I thought the subs were good. I was a bit weird. The only sub I was weirded out was that I don't know why he needed to bring Thiago Silva on. I would have just given.
Yeah, that was weird.
I think he had to bring him on because he's more cool-headed in terms of controlling the game, the tempo of the game, than Andreas Christensen
totally
can.
agree. He's just played he's just played a lot of football recently. I would just give him like the time off.
Yeah, because the truth is with Andreas Christensen, sometimes when so much pressure come at him, he can panic. But you don't get that. True. Yeah, you don't get that from Thiago Silva. I think it was a good move anyway, but you could argue it wasn't necessary.
Reece James, another fantastic performance. Right,
he was brilliant.
Another defensive, great performance, which I think sets him aside from other right centre backs. He's better defensively. The attacking thing, he's good, but defensively, he's shown wisdom beyond his age.
Physically and otherwise, I think he's a complete player. Yeah, and he's improved in terms of progressing the ball. That's usually where I have issues with him. Usually he takes the easier path, like going backwards or sideways, but now he's improved in terms of taking on opposition players and finding a way to put the ball into the box, or even he gets into decisive positions, and if you can get the ball to him, we know he can shoot very well. Yeah. Declan, your thoughts, what stood out for you?
What stood out?
Yeah, for you. And what do you think about the game overall?
I think it's tactically all right, maybe. You know, having Reece James, Loftus-Cheek, this standout performance, Werner as well. Because there was moments there I was worried of, because I thought Palace was set up a little tight, and the way we've been converting, I thought the game could end up 0-0 in a way. But once Loftus-Cheek scored, that's it. It opened it really up, because they weren't. I know they did have they should have scored on one of them, but besides that, they had very little chances. But that's all they needed. The way we're going with our conversion rate, it summed it up pretty quick.
Yeah, Nick, your turn. So we can get into the ratings very soon. And okay, I still have Matt. So I have to get to Matt.
Yeah. I thought Christensen done very well at the back yesterday. I've been criticizing him lately because of that Real Madrid game, because he was so terrible. But he showed me the old Christensen. He was good. Reece James for me was man of the match. The guy, you can't, shrug him off anything. He was winning tackles, no one could do yesterday. And it was great to see, he's improving and he's still young. he's only going to get better, And Werner was good. He didn't score, but he made 2 goals. And the subs made a big difference. Ruben, when he come on, he was the Ruben I want to see. When we know what player he was, and that big injury, put him down a lot. But yesterday, I was so glad that ball went in the net from him because he deserves it. And that from that goal, it was just us to win, to finish off, control. And that's why Thiago Silva come on, just to calm down a bit, because he's a big influence, on the other players. He just tells them what to do. And Rudiger was Rudiger as always. The guy is unbelievable. He's overplayed every single game. He got cramped yesterday, if you remember. He had a bit of cover. No surprise, but he got up and played on. The guy's a beast. He's unbelievable. And Mason Mount, great goal. I was so glad for Mason Mount. And the main reason Mason Mount's changed is the haircut. It's not a laughing matter. It's the haircut. He reminds me, with that haircut, I can see Eden Hazard in him. I really do. So, he's improved. I was great to win, but it could have easily gone really bad because that open chance they had, and it was 0-0, it would have been, I still would have backed Chelsea to come back and win that game, but it would have been harder. So, great game. Now we have to get the revenge. We all won. That's the main issue now. And put those Scousers to bed. And we don't want them winning nothing at all. They've won one cup. That's enough for them. Yeah.
Yeah. So Matt, your turn, brother. Sorry, you've been you haven't spoken for a while.
That's so good listening to everyone's, about the game. Pretty much everyone said what I wanted to say. It was a good game. We're going to take revenge on Liverpool. I'm just a bit worried about Kovacic now. I'm not too sure what's happening with him. Hopefully it's nothing bad, but I think it is going to be bad. I think I'm hearing the rest of the season. So it looks like, we might need to force Kante to keep playing even though he's out of form. But on the Loftus-Cheek performance, I've been saying everyone...
You really think Kante is out of form?
I think he's out of form. He's not having his best season, but he's still obviously like a starter at Chelsea. Like he's not in the worst form. Like he's not that bad. Like people are, making him seem like he's had a couple bad games, couple bad mistakes, but he's obviously still a fantastic enough player to start in these type of games. But I want to quickly just talk about the Loftus-Cheek performance, and I've been saying that an exception to the rule doesn't make the rule. One performance, one goal in 3 years isn't good for a person who's supposed to be an attacking midfielder. So for me, I do still think he should be on that selling list in August because people are still protecting him, saying we should be keeping him for depth and all that. But I don't see it.
Who should be on the selling list?
Oh, there's a bunch of players, but the two.
No, you're referring to a particular individual. Who should be?
Kepa, of course, yeah. Hello, Matt.
Who?
Go ahead, Matt.
Kepa.
No, not Kepa. No. I don't think he's on the selling list. But but the selling list is more like promoting other clubs to come and buy him, like Loftus-Cheek, Werner, Barkley. Like we want here. This is our clearance. Take him. We don't want him here. And then I think on Alonso as well. If we're talking about selling, I'm not sure we should be getting rid of Alonso at the moment. I still think he's a bad player. I don't want to get sucked into this like we've done 6-7 times. But if no one comes in, I won't be frustrated with him being as a second wing back. He's had some decent performances lately. If he keeps it up, he could possibly see another spot next season as a secondary left wing back. So yeah, good game.
So you trust him long term?
Nah, he's 32. Aspie's he's the same age as Aspie. People forget about that. So I don't trust either of them. But like I'm saying, people were just so bad to get rid of him. But I don't think he's our number one priority to get rid of. Last season we wanted him out so bad, but I don't think he should be the person we should be trying to get rid of first. I do still think he's on that list though.
All right, I think we have another show where we'll talk about what players to keep and what players to sell. Andrew, I'm going to come to you quickly. What do you think about Timo Werner's re-emergence, if you like?
What, just in time for the summer transfer window?
Yeah, exactly. That's because it makes the whole decision even because it's not If it was just that Southampton game, then we say it was 1 of 10.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it was after that. It was against Real Madrid, and it was just the game against Crystal Palace. Also, he's been brilliant. If you ask me, I'd say I think he's turned the corner. But go ahead.
I'm not ready to
You're stealing my words.
I'm not ready to go turn the corner yet. Fair dues, he's played well the last 3 games. I've always praised people that play well. I just think though that I just don't think it's enough for me to say, yeah, we'll give him another season, because I think this is an aberration. I don't think it's like a turn the corner. It'll be interesting to see, because I was hearing, looking a lot on Twitter yesterday, apparently there's an issue with he has an issue with the Stamford Bridge pitch. It's not wide enough or something like that. So it'll be interesting to see how he plays against Arsenal. But, you know, listen, he's played well. I think, though, I think we should move him on with Lukaku this summer. And, you know, what we bring in. I just don't think... remember, he is earning 275 grand a week, right?
That's a lot.
His numbers do not justify his wages at all. Yeah, he should be paying us back. He should be on a pay as you play well deal.
But you know quite well, Andrew, that some people argue otherwise, that his numbers at Chelsea aren't that bad in terms of goals contribution.
Yeah, goals. Yeah, remember last season that's new stat that no Chelsea fan had used before, penalties won stat that everyone was using last year as well. I just, for me, he's played well, and I do think this is the best front three, because I think it was last season. But for me, I'm done with him, because I think there's more of the previous performances than these performances in his locker. I don't think we're going to get a lot of these performances going forward. So, but he's played very well the last 3 games. Very well.
Okay, I'm going to say in advance that I think Bobby is going to disagree with you in this one, but until I get to him, Ty, your thoughts. Ty, your thoughts, or should I come back to you later? Okay,
Is it that statement, Paul Mitchell, Director of Football for AS Monaco?
Sorry, can you say that again?
You're talking about the statement, because I stepped out a minute, about Paul Mitchell, Director of Football.
No. We're talking about Timo Werner, his re-emergence, if you prefer, or his form of late, whether you would consider letting him go in the summer.
No. Simple. Timo, I think, will improve and continue from here. We've got to stop you know what I feel about all this, turfing out players and that. You can't. What's the replacement? Unless there is a significant replacement that's not going to cost us ridiculous money, I think we should leave him. We know his strengths, we know his weaknesses, we know how to play with him. The greatest thing about Timo is his attitude and application, and that matters in a squad game. This is about the squad, and we've seen from the things that Romelu Lukaku did, we've seen how one player not really being in it for the rest of the team can disrupt the team. So no, I wouldn't get rid of Timo at all.
Yeah, I think I agree with you, and I knew in advance you will disagree with Andrew, who thinks he hasn't seen enough. But then again, some people will show you his numbers this past season that he's actually been great for us. Ty, are you back, or should I go to Declad? Okay, Declad, your turn, brother. Tell me what you think about Timo. I know you probably... Okay, I'm not going to say what I think you'd say.
About Timo?
Mm-hmm.
Timo, right? He's picked up some form, which is great to see. But Timo is also our 3rd highest paid player, and he's not the third best player. He's not even close. He barely makes the starting 11, and he has to convert, and that's not taught. That's not tactics. That's not system. He gets a lot of chances, and there is a pressure there that he's not used to. There is that there's a high level pressure. There's that thing where how teams with lower expectations, right? Players can perform better in those teams because the pressure's off. But Chelsea, you have to win all the time. You have to score. You get moments. It was a big leap. So when you put Werner in a relaxed environment, he'll probably score a lot of goals. The next team he probably goes to, he's probably going to do that, right? But at the level of Chelsea, and maybe it's a common theme with our strikers because we are held at such a high level, right? You're surrounded, even in the past, high level players that some players can't live up to it. And Werner is getting world class money. You know, for that same money, someone should be carrying our teams. When the team plays badly, that player that on that wages should be able to come up with moments, right, to help us, to carry us through. We don't have that. What we have instead, like even in the Southampton game, he scored 2 goals, but he could have scored 5 easy. He had a hat trick of cross the post. Perfect hat trick. Each of the posters. He missed a lot of chances even in that game. So for me, Werner's not up to the level. And if he was on half the wage, lower than half, I'd say maybe good player. He could play the role, come in, he'll probably improve. But he's on just too much, and we need killers, and he's not a killer.
Okay, I get your point. And again, that's your opinion. We're all entitled to our opinions. And Nick Blue, your thoughts on Timo?
Yeah, well, Timo, like you all said, he's improved. The last 3 games, he's been a different Timo. But before that, I wanted him out. I thought he'd be Tuchel's first name to go out. And he still could be. Let's see. If he performs the next few games, it really shows us he can score more goals. I'll be willing to keep him on myself for another season. Give him the chance. We bought him to get goals, and he didn't plan out. He made good assists. He's had a lot of assists, but simply he hasn't scored enough. Like Declan just mentioned, that game at Southampton should have had 5-6 goals. Any other striker would have. And but I'm still willing to give him the rest of the season, and see what happens, because I don't want to throw him out right now or in the summer. But I won't be surprised either if Tuchel decides to let him go. Because of the whole season. He played well yesterday. Again, not bad, but he should be scoring more and stop missing. How many chances did he miss?
Nick, were you surprised he got man of the match yesterday?
Yes, that's a stupid BBC man. No way, he wasn't man of the match. That's what's his name? I forgot who he was on the BBC. He chose him. It wasn't even a Shearer, it was someone else. Yeah, that's silly. He wasn't man of the match. Reece James was man of the match for me. For me, it was Reece James. Very closely with Christensen because of the defending he done. He didn't make one mistake. Both of them. They kept Palace out when Palace were threatening. So yeah, Reece James was man of the match. You can't say Timo Werner was man of the match. He had a good game, yes. And so I'm willing to give him. Let's see what happens. Can he continue his performance for the next 5 games? Is it 5 we've got left? I think. If he does that,
9 overall, 8 in the league and the FA Cup.
Oh, so we got 9 games. So he's got a good run of games where he can show more. Show us you can score. That's what all that money you get. You have to put the ball in the net, like Andrew said. It's too much money for someone who doesn't score enough. Yes, that's one thing.
Yeah. Matt, what do you think?
I mean, Werner, I was backing him last year, because, everyone was like, when we first signed him, like, we thought this man would have been fantastic, but he hasn't been up to the expectation we were all hoping for. So, come summer, I think I do agree with Bobby in the point that if no one can come and replace him, because I've always said that I don't think there's someone in the forward line right now, anywhere that can realistically come to Chelsea, can come and fix our problem at the front three. If we can't get anyone in, then I might as well just keep Werner, even though I don't think he's a fantastic player at the moment, and I do want to get rid of him because I said this 10 minutes ago. I think he's on the selling list with Loftus-Cheek. Them two are going to be the first two that have to go.
Okay, I think everybody, the majority seem to not be for him, staying at the club. But we'll see what happens. But I do think he will stay. He has it in him. I think he doesn't even need us to change too much for him to, be firing on all cylinders. He's shown that he can be good on the ball to an acceptable measure. If you ask me, I think we'll see what happens. So let's go into the ratings, and I want to ask you guys this question. Since I think it was the 26 minutes when Ruben come in, should I just put Ruben here instead of cover? I think it's better to put Ruben here. What you guys think?
I am an absolute Ruben fan.
Yeah.
I just think injuries have blighted his career. Ruben Loftus-Cheek is the ultimate midfielder. He's probably our best midfielder when fit. But he's been injured. He's had COVID. He had that career-threatening injury that showed his mental strength to even come back. I would never get rid of Ruben. At worst, leave him as a squad player, but get rid of him? Absolutely not.
No, I don't think that will happen. I think Tuchel loves him.
The answer to your question, coach, is yes. Put him there instead of Kovacic for that.
Yeah, because he played the majority of the game, right? Yeah. So we can agree with that. And I think this guy is actually, although Tuchel hasn't tried him there, if you ask me, I think he's one of the best number 8s that we have at the club. But he hasn't.
I think on paper he is on paper, but he hasn't performed it. That's the problem. I think Bobby's thinking to with his, he's thinking too emotionally. He's went through this injury. He's fantastic, but like we can't just have a player on the bench or as rotation just because he's gone through an injury. But I understand.
Mate, you made a wrong call before. You said, "Oh, we all got excited because he scored one goal for attacking midfielder, but he never played up front." You know what the positions he's been playing,
Ruben
yeah?
has played everywhere.
What?
He's been used everywhere.
Yep, centre back, right wing back.
What? Matt, what was your quote about when he scored one goal?
Yeah, he plays in number 8, but it's his first goal in 3 years.
He hasn't played as an 8 though.
Yeah.
He's been playing in the 6 roles.
No,
And now he's playing in
Here's one thing I can agree. The only issue I have with Ruben is this comment here by
since October. He's been playing.
This comment here by Hans Master. Ruben's work rate off the ball is absolutely dreadful.
Another question from True Blue about David Speedy. He's got a good point there. Like Werner, we had David Speedy, secondary striker coming on like Werner in those days. I don't know if you lot remember David Speedy with Kerry Dixon.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and look, and Speedy was doing the business. The man, every time he come on, he could score from anywhere on the pitch. And that's what we want to see Werner do, Bobby.
I know.
That's what it's a big difference what we had then and now. Yeah, that's a great point made by True Blue there.
I have to say, if Chelsea ever think of offloading Ruben, that will be the biggest mistake they've ever made. Every club needs a player like that.
I don't think it will happen.
Right now, his versatility is his greatest strength, and versatility is what is great for the system at the moment, and what Tuchel appreciates at the moment.
Yesterday, he got that ball and run, all the way from our half to their half, and he didn't come to any conclusion, but that's the Ruben we want to see. He drives.
And I think he has to, just like Hans Master highlights here. I think his work rate off the ball is an issue for me.
Tuchel likes him. He wouldn't have him there if he didn't. No, Ruben is going to get better. Yeah.
Yeah, I hope he gets a chance at the number 8 position because he's a fine finisher and also he's a fine creator too. but he hasn't had the opportunity under Thomas Tuchel. So I'll start with you, Nick. Your rating for Edouard Mendy, and if you're in the chat, let us know your rating for Edouard Mendy.
Mendy had a good game. He didn't have too many saves, but the ones he did, especially the two, after the one after the other, that was world class. World class.
So what would you rate him?
Mendy for me is an 8. 8.
An 8. Declare your Mendy rating.
8.
Depending on what amount I get, I'll give him a 7. He was good, but he wasn't stand out.
Okay, and Andrew.
I give him a 6. I thought the save was good in the first half, but really that's all he had. He wasn't really peppered or anything like that. Kept a clean sheet, distributed the ball well. I think he had a very calm day for a semi-final. He had a very peaceful day. So I give him a 6, 6.5 maybe. But yeah, I'm happy. I'm comfortable with that.
Yeah, and quickly I want to say, Sean O'Brien, Football Channel. I think this is the first time I'm seeing you here. Now make sure to check out the channel, please. If you haven't, do like the video and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't. He says 6.5. Okay, I'm seeing everybody 7.5. I think the average right now is around 7. Yeah, let's go ahead. Ty, your rating for Mendy.
Yeah, I agree with what Andrew said about, he didn't really have much to really do. So I think I'm going to give him a 6.5 or a 6 because he didn't really have much to do other than that save by to stop Koyate's shot.
Okay, 6.5. Okay, your turn, Bobby. Your rating for Mendy.
Yeah, I think he wasn't very busy yesterday, but I'll give him a 7 because sometimes when you're not busy, that's when you need to be sharpest. And the few times he was called upon, he didn't let us down.
Yeah, so I think the average overall. So I mean, you make a good point there. When you're not busy, you have to be sharp when the ball comes to you, and that easily, I think that's a good argument. So 7 for him, and for Christensen, I'll start with you, Bobby.
Christensen, that's a funny one. I don't think he had a bad game. And I fully get why he was taken off for Thiago. Maybe the Barcelona thing, and Thiago is somebody with the sort of level head that would see off the game better. So I think to be fair to Christensen, I'll give him a 7 as well.
So if you're in the chat, let us know your rating for Andreas Christensen. Your turn, Ty. Christensen. Okay, Andrew.
I think I'm here. I will give him a 7 because he did quite well in the center role.
Okay, he's got 2 7s. Andrew, your turn.
Yeah, very solid 7. I think sometimes he's better in the middle than either side. In the middle,
okay.
For his best, so 7.
Yeah, I agree. The middle is his best position. That's the only reason why I'm gutted that he's leaving, because he's the closest thing to Thiago Silva in terms of staying calm on the ball and his ability to orchestrate some great passes on his day. That's the only reason why I just don't like it that he's leaving, because once we lose Thiago Silva, there's nobody closest to him in the team with the current squad. Andreas Christensen is that man that would have made a perfect replacement for him. But then again, we can force him to stay. Your turn, Declan. What do you think?
I'll give him 8 because
an 8.
I think, because of his recently hasn't been good. He stepped up well. I was a bit worried, with him and some cup finals. He's interesting in cup finals. I guess things happen in big games with Christensen, but he was good. So I'll give him just a little bit more than I wanted to give him a 7. But I'll give him a little bit more for effort. For being one.
I'll give him a 7. I agree. For me, he did his job, but he wasn't. You can now argue that he was excellent. I think they all performed as a unit. That's the most important thing for me. Nick, your turn. Your rating for Christensen.
Yeah, Christensen had a very good game yesterday, and he cleared a lot of balls in the air as well, which I was very proud to see. So for me, you can't just give him a 7. It's got to be the same as Mendy. He gets an 8 from me. 8.
Okay, but majority, I think the average, even without doing the mathematics, is 7 from everything we have here. And for the king himself, King James, I'll start with you. Your thoughts, Nick?
Reece James, man of the match for me. He gets a 9.5 for me. 9.5.
9.5 for you. Declared James for you.
Yeah, 9.5. And near perfect game.
9.5 for you too.
Yeah, he was perfect job on the most threatening player, and the player that we're worried about was so quiet. So,
Okay, 9.5. I have 10 here from Fresor. RJ 10. He repeated it actually. Okay, 9 from the Queen of All Streams, Street Beer, and okay, I don't know who's that one is saying 9.5. 9 here, and you from Pierre Kakari, and your turn, Andrew, for Reece James.
I give Nick on the man of the match for him. For me, 8.5. I thought he was very solid, very outstanding. Kept Zaha, whoever they want to put on the right hand side, and like I said, he's showing maturity beyond his age in that position. So 8.5 for me. I thought he was outstanding.
Yeah, I have to agree. He's shown some measure of maturity that you see in people in their late 30s, and that's good to see. And he's gotten better, actually. I must say that. Ty, your rating for Reece?
Yeah, I'm going to say 8.5 because I think he did quite well, and I mean most of the time when he plays as the right centre back, he handles the game quite well.
So an 8 for you, Bobby. Your turn, Reece James.
Reece James is a 9 for me. Reece is an incredible player. He's one of those players that actually carries the team. And for me, I think in the very near future, we're going to see a Chelsea captain in Mason Mount and a vice captain in Reece James. The guy is incredible. He really is.
He is incredible. He is indeed. And no surprising we're here in the Real Madrid looking at him. But they can look all they want and even go blind in the process. We're not gonna listen to them.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Nick Blue, Eric Blue, your rating for Reece James?
I said 9.5.
Yeah. I'm asking Eric Blue. I just mixed up the names. Eric, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, your rating for Reece James against Crystal Palace?
I'll say 9.
Okay, so the average is 9. I don't even need a calculator to do that. And for Rude Boy Rudiger, I'll start with you, Eric. Your rating for Rudiger?
9.5.
9.5. If you're in the chat, let us know your rating for Rudiger. Nick Blue, your rating for Rudiger?
Rudiger, he's my favorite player. But yesterday I had to give it to Reece James because he was man of the match. Rudiger's just below, and he gets a 9. Easy 9 for Rudiger.
He gets a 9, okay. Declare your Rudiger rating?
Well, I have to give him low because he's Nick's favorite player. So since Nick gave him 9, I gotta give him 7.5.
7.5. Okay, Andrew, your turn for Rudiger.
I'm going to have to give him the same echo Christensen. I thought they were both very solid, so a 7 for me.
7. Okay, Ty, Rudiger.
An 8.5. Give me the same rating.
Okay, 8.5. Your turn, Bobby, for Rudiger.
I give Rudiger an 8. That guy has simply got to stay at Chelsea. They've got to give him what he wants. He's a winner. He really is. And by the way, I don't want to see him play on Wednesday. He really needs to be given a break. Let him have a rest.
What are we going to do in his absence? That's the issue.
Malang Sarr, he can play that left back.
No, we have to switch. We'll have to switch up the formation. It's not going to be 3 at the back. if Sa has to start. But that's, by the way, again, in terms of talking about Rudiger, absolute Chelsea doesn't come bigger than Rudiger, or Chelsea through and through just doesn't come bigger than that man. I think he exemplifies the term or the phrase absolute Chelsea, and also Chelsea through and through. For Alonso, the surprise, and he's been a brilliant of late, if you ask me. Bobby, let me start with you. Your rating, and people in the chat, your rating for Alonso.
You're right. Alonso has done very, very well. At the Bernabeu, he was excellent. My problem with Alonso has always been his speed and his recovery. I mean, we complain about Ruben not backtracking particularly well. I don't think that is Alonso's strength either. However, against Palace, he didn't really do anything wrong. So I'll give Alonso a 7 out of 10 for this game. He had a good game.
I agree with you. I think it's been brilliant. 7 for you. You don't need me to call your name. You can just say your number, and I would take it down. Ty, your rating for Alonso?
7.
Oh, Andrew, go ahead. You don't need to just say your
6,
numbers, and I'm taking
6.
6 for you. Declare. Go ahead.
Alonso wasn't too bad. I'll give him 6.5.
6.5. Nick, you for Alonso?
Yeah, Alonso. The last few games he's been really good. I've never hated the player because the goals he scored, for us in the past, the important goals are, he gets the 7 for yesterday. He's been very good lately, and I'm really good. I'm glad we have him. Yeah.
So you said your rating for him is what?
7.
A 7. Eric Blue, your rating for Alonso?
7.5.
Okay, so I think the average is 7. And for Eric, straight up for Ruben Loftus-Cheek.
Okay, so for me, Ruben Loftus-Cheek might be the man of the match. I'm not sure, but I'm just going to go for it. I'm going to say 10.
A 10, okay. For those in the chat for Ruben, Nick, your rating for Ruben?
Ruben had a great game. He scored a great goal, but he's not man of the match. Like I said, it was James, and Ruben will get a 9 for me. 9.
A 9, okay. Declared for Ruben.
He actually wasn't going to start, came on and matched the level. Got to give him a lot of credit for that. And he scored the most important goal to open it up, which I was having doubts that we were going to score or not. So I'll give him a 9.
A 9, Andrew, your turn.
Thought it very well. He's very good. A solid 8 for me.
8, okay. Ty?
7.5.
7.5. Bobby, your turn.
Yeah, I have to give Ruben a 9 for this one. He showed really what he can do if fit and, played properly in the midfield. He's an excellent player. 9 out of 10 for yesterday. Yeah,
I think 9 is the average. And for people in the chat now, we're talking about Jorginho. I'll start with you, Bobby. Your thoughts on Jorginho?
Georgie has disappointed me recently. I'm not surprised he's been on the bench. He came on, didn't really do anything wrong for the little he played, but he needs to do better. I'll give Georgie a 6.
Okay, a 6 for you. Ty, Jorginho?
I'm going to give him a 6.
No surprise. And Andrew, your turn for Jorginho.
I thought he was disappointing, so I'll give him a 5.
A 5. Declared. Jorginho?
I'll give him a 6.
A 6.
I don't know. Not bad game.
Okay, Nick, Jorginho?
Yeah, he's true. He hasn't been great lately. And, he had an average game yesterday, so 5.56. I think I'll give him a 6. 6.
Okay, yeah. I was thinking maybe, do you want me to go get a calculator? You're going 5.56. Eric, your turn, please, on Jorginho.
I'm going to be generous here, so I'm going to say 5.5.
Okay, so I think the average is
6.
I don't need a 6. Yeah, thank you very much. I think it's 6. So for Aspie, Eric, straight up. Eric, you with me? Aspie, your rating for Aspie. Nick, your rating for Aspie.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Yeah, Aspie didn't have his greatest games, but he done his job. I'll give him a 7 for yesterday.
A 7 for Aspie. Okay, 6. I see 6 here. I see 7 here. Declare Aspie.
Yeah, Aspie was forced. His role was a little interesting, and he was meant to be versatile. I got to give him a lot of credit. He was up and down. He ran like hell. I mean, his age. It's still great to see. I'm going to give him more credit. A 7.5.
I thought you're not for sentiments. That sentiments considering his age. If it's on the pitch, he should run.
He did a lot of running. He played an important role that I don't think people saw. He tucked in the midfield, wide, helped James.
What he does, energy. He has.
You win. Okay, Andrew, your turn. Your ratings for
solid 6.
A 6. Okay, Ty.
I'm gonna.
Ty is gone.
No, I'm still here. You're speaking about maths. I'm going to do it this way. The 4th month of the year, and 28, so 7.
7 for him. You started that mathematics, right? 4. Okay. Bobby, your rating for Aspie.
Strange game for Aspie, but I don't know. I will be a bit sentimental. I love Aspie. I think he walks straight into the Chelsea Hall of Fame. There'll be lots of tears at Stamford Bridge the day that guy leaves that club. I can't say enough about Aspie. I mean, we love John Terry as a captain. I think he's every bit as good. And I just think yesterday, I'll give him a 7. To be honest, I think it's a little bit flattering for him because there were some little things here and there. But in terms of application, in terms of endeavor, in terms of what he does for the team, it's priceless. You can't put money on it. You can't even put a selection on it. Aspie's great. So I'll give him 7 for yesterday.
Okay. Overall, I think the average is 6. And one thing you mentioned is this: he exemplifies, bro. That is, he's an exemplary professional. I think that's why I would still believe the club will sort out this contract situation with him. So, Bobby, again, with you, how about Werner?
Timo Werner was given man of the match. Yet again, I hope I'm not being too sentimental. I hope I'm not willing him, but he did have a good game. He's making less mistakes. He looked like scoring. The only time he started missing chances was when Lukaku came on, funny enough. But look, he got man of the match. He played well. I'll give him an 8.
Okay, your turn, Ty.
Yeah, I think Werner was an 8.
An 8 for you?
Yeah.
Okay, and how about you, Andrew?
Yeah, 8. I'm fine with an 8.
Okay, and 8 declared for Werner.
Yeah, just going to give him a touch more. 8.5 for Werner. That was a good performance for him. Didn't get the goal, but I think he did a lot. And he's been on good form.
Yeah. Nick, your rating for Werner?
Yeah, I think he done brilliant yesterday again. I just hope he plays like this for the rest of the games, because I like him. I want him to stay at Chelsea. He's a great player when he wants to be. He has to at least an 8. 8 for me. Yeah.
Okay. I've seen Eric. Eric gives him an 8. I think his average is 8, and it well deserved, actually. I'd give him more if I can, but even if I add my number there, the average will still be 8. So, Eric, I'm going to start with you. I know we're talking about Mount now. We'll probably get a high number from Eric because that's his boy in question. So, Nick, your turn, Eric. What's your rating for Mount?
I say, sorry, I'm eating. I'm gonna say 9.5.
I knew. I'm not surprised. So, Nick W, your rating for Mount, please. And if you're in the chat, let us know your rating for Mount.
For Mason, for me yesterday, in the first half, he didn't do much. His crosses were on level, one good. Wasn't unbeaten the first man from the corner.
Mm-hmm.
But second half, thankfully, he came to life. Just because he came to life and scored a great goal, I can't give him. I can't give him a 9 or something. But he gets an 8 because he scored that goal as well. 8 for me for Mason.
8 for Mason. Okay. Yep. Okay. Declare your turn.
I'll give Mason a 9.
A 9. Okay. Okay.
Proper Charles. Nah,
Okay.
he got a goal which adds to it, and I think he didn't start that well, but as the game went on, he started doing a lot better. And
okay, and if you're in the chat, let
press.
us know your rating for Mount. Sorry, Declare, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead, brother.
Oh, that's no, it's okay.
Yeah,
Can
I change that to 8.5 for the haircut?
Okay.
No, sorry, Nick, it's
for
locked
the
in, mate.
haircut because it looks much better. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, Andrew, your turn for Mount.
I thought, I'm going to give him an 8. I thought the goal obviously helped his performance a lot. So before that, I didn't think he was much in the game. So story of his season, really. He's getting the numbers when the performances aren't that great. But 8. Fantastic goal.
Yeah, thank you. Ty, your rating for Mount.
8.
8. How about you, Bobby?
I give Mason a 9. You know, we talk about Aspie's application. I mean, Mason, clearly, for me, that's the Chelsea captain coming. And, he had a bit of a bad patch of form this season, especially around that December time, even before then. But he's coming back now, and I can't do anything other than give him a 9 yesterday.
Yeah, I agree. I think he was just overplayed and was mentally tired. He needed some mental break, if you ask me. So 9, we can all agree. I think the average is around 8.5. What do you guys think?
Sure.
Right?
Yeah, that's about right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was a man of the match, but 8.5, that goal was great. So, and
that's the average from everything.
The haircut was even better from the goal.
So let's start with you, Bobby. Kai Havertz yesterday in that game.
Now, I love Kai. I think Kai Havertz is an exceptional player. I think he's only going to get better. He, to me, is a cross between Robin van Persie and Dennis Bergkamp. He is that good. Yesterday wasn't his best game, but yet again, I give him his marks based on the application. And for his application, it's incredible. He's another 9.
Another 9 for you. Okay. Ty, your rating for Kai Havertz.
Yeah, I'm gonna give him a 7. He wasn't the greatest, and for obvious reasons, like I was saying yesterday about fatigue, he looked very tired. So I'm gonna give him a 7, but he did well.
Yeah, he looked tired. I even thought that he was going to be rested for that game. Andrew, your turn for Kai.
I didn't think it was his best overall game whatsoever. I give him a 6. I didn't think he.
Okay, 6.
Yeah,
okay.
I think you're right. I think I was very surprised he started yesterday after playing 20 minutes in the Bernabeu. I was very surprised. 6 for me. I'll be surprised if he starts Wednesday.
I'll be too. I think he needs a break, but we'll see what happens. Yeah, Declared your rating for Kai.
Comparing to other players, I think Kai did all right. He didn't get a goal. He was in and out. I'm gonna give him 7.5, 7.5.
7.5. Okay, Nick, your rating for Kai.
Yeah, he wasn't the usual Havertz yesterday, but he's probably outside. But he wasn't bad. I'm not saying he had an average game, just above average for me. So he gets a 7. 7 for me. And like Jasviala said in the comments, she gave him 7 for the dive. Yeah, good dive. Nearly fooled Anthony Taylor, that bald-headed idiot.
No, if that fooled the
We have to
referee,
have,
that would create more problems for him.
Have a rating for Anthony Taylor at the end, please. Yeah.
Yeah, here's the thing. If he fooled Taylor, then referees are officiating games that hits that will punish him for even the slightest of. So even when he didn't dive, so it's a risk. And again, it was funny. And then this here from Stribia is really funny too. And I get that Just Viola's comments. Yeah, it makes sense. And Eric I think Eric's rating is 6. So I'm gonna come to you.
I feel a bit bad. I think maybe it's too low. I'm gonna say 6.5.
Okay, 6.5. I think the average is 7. If you ask me, am I correct?
Okay. Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah, so that's about it. So with that, I want to say thank you to everybody on the panel. Does anybody on the panel want to say anything? Final thoughts about the topic for the day? If not, I think we've tried.
Let's put Arsenal in their place Wednesday. Let's wrap up this 3rd place and then concentrate everything on the FA Cup final.
That's right.
Yep.
Yeah,
and hopefully you guys will be available for the preview tomorrow, because we have 2 topics tomorrow. If we can mix it up, fine. If not, we'll just talk about the topic for the day. And let's put them in their place. Anybody else want to say anything about that game?
Yeah, I just want to say carry on winning. You know, I want to see the next game, all the games we have left, to win every single one, and the final, and especially for Roman Abramovich. I want to say, to say thank you for all you've done. And that's what I want. I want that cap.
Yeah, you have a chance to win $150 because you have an automatic entry to the Roman tribute contest, don't you? So write a good one there. You could win it. Anybody, Bobby? You have anything to say? Declare anything?
No. Big up, everyone.
Sorry.
I'm saying I don't have much to say. Just saying big up, everyone.
Okay. Bobby, anything from you?
Yeah, I just think that the next game against Arsenal, unfortunately, we're going to have to rotate Rudiger as the rest. Everyone's spoken about Kai Havertz. We might find some changes coming in, and I hope the changes do us proud because, as Nick said, we've got to keep winning, and we have to do something this season to say a big thank you to Roman for sure.
Yeah, I agree with you. Blue, any final thoughts from you?
Yeah, the only thing I have left to say is up to Chelsea.
Yeah, I think that's a good one. And with that, I say thank you to everybody on the panel. That includes 1 second, I have to see the names out of me. That includes Bobby, Ty Talks, Eric Blue, and Nick Blue, and also Declad. I think Declad have left. Declad, who was here, and Andrew also. It's been a brilliant conversation, and I appreciate everybody being respectful as we express our opinions. Again, all we try to do is to be objective and then come to a sensible conclusion. And again, it's been a brilliant conversation, and I learned something from it. And I hope somehow somebody learned something from my own argument. And I want to say thank you to everybody in the chat, from Phantom to Phrase All, to Street Beer Queen of all streams herself, to a True Blue who provides great input also, to Just Viola, one of the queens of the house, and I saw Pierre Kakari was here, and also Kronos Dan. Everybody else, I want to say thank you to all. You provide great value to the chat, and with that, I say thank you. See you all tomorrow. For another Blue Money show, and bye.